Guys, this is a 9-minute long clip. This is from Colin Moriarty. So right here from the top, I spoke extensively with someone who worked on Concord. It's so much worse than you think. He was internally referred to as the future of PlayStation. With Star Wars-like potential and a dev culture of toxic positivity, halted any negative feedback, making it, this is the big one, cost $400 million. Now, this is way beyond what we originally thought, because originally we thought this thing was $200 million to make, which is still a staggering amount, but double that. And the fact that it says that it was referred to as the future of PlayStation, now we know why there were the cutscenes that we saw, right? There was going to be seasonal story progression, narrative progression, and it's even in that Amazon show, and it's still going to be in that Amazon episode, right? It's interesting that someone greenlit this, or at least Sony was feeding into this as well. I don't know every detail, but we're going to listen to this right now, okay?
I want to talk about Concord. I wasn't going to ever talk about this game again, because who really gives a shit? However, and I don't do journalism really anymore, as you guys know, and we talk about this a lot. I was a journalist at one time, and I used to break a lot of stories, and these days I don't really grind like that. So the stories that I break these days are usually people, always, not usually, always people coming to me.
That's fair. I would say just about every, I get stuff too from time to time when people get let go. That's normally when people open up about things, especially if it's a studio that falls apart, and they share a lot of information in those moments.
And someone who worked on Concord reached out to me, and I verified who this person was and went through all of that and talked to this person extensively, for a long time. And got some, I think, interesting information that I can share about Concord. And I think people will be interested about it. The reason that I wanted to talk about it is because some of the assumptions that I had made about the game were dead wrong, as far as how much it cost and how much Sony really lost on it. So the big thing that you really need to know here about this is that Concord cost about $400 million to make.
Oh my God.
And the story goes that Concord, by the time Concord was, so in the first quarter of 2023, Concord had basically entered an alpha state. This was before Sony had even purchased the team, but Sony had been working with Probably Monsters, and which was the original owner of Firewalk and Firewalk, probably since late 2020, maybe 2020.
Again, Probably Monsters, a number of the PvP developers that were at Bungie, at Destiny, that made Destiny 2's PvP, specifically the double primary system, had left there to go work at Probably Monsters, amongst other developers as well, right? They broke off to do their own thing.
They wanted the latest on Concord. The game was in development before that. Up to the point that the game went into alpha state, they had already spent about $200 million on it. And it's unclear how much of that money is from Probably Monsters and the original investors into the game, and how much of that money was from Sony. There's this term in product development, not only with games, but really with everything. You can like manufacture a tchotchke. You guys might have heard of it. It's called minimum viability, or a minimum viable product. The idea behind this, or MVP, the idea behind this is that this is like what you're trying to achieve, and it's like once you cross this barrier, you feel comfortable selling it. It's not that it's the best it can be, or that it's what it's going to be by the time you launch it, because there's all sorts of extra stuff you do to it, but like, this is the minimum viability of the product.
Right.
When the game had already had $200 million spent on it and was basically in an alpha form in quarter one of 2023, from that point until the game launched, Sony spent another $200 million on it.
On what?
The scuttlebutt behind the scenes about Concord is that the game was in a laughable shape when it was shown, and ready, basically like when the alpha was ready to go, and they were kind of being like, you know, we're ready to.
Dude, is there like money laundering happening right now via game development? How in deep are things ballooning to this level?
To kind of get moving towards getting this thing out in the next year or two. It was in such horrible shape that Sony felt like they needed to spend that much money again. So, you know, 200 plus 200 to get the game to the MVP status, not to the status of it being like a great game, to get it to just viability.
God, don't get
that. At that time in quarter one 2023, there was nothing done. Like, a major expense was having to urgently outsource much of the game to other studios to finish building the game out. And that two fundamental things were not worked on at all up to the point in which the game was shown in alpha. Onboarding, nothing about that. No, like there was nothing about how players get on, like how they make their character, all that kind of stuff, or, you know, choose their character and get there. And monetization. Two very expensive, very specific and boutique things that happen to games like this. And so that's the first thing that I wanted to say is...
Okay, so my question is, if it wasn't even at its viable product stage yet, why would Sony invest in it? Why would Sony okay this, go, yeah, this is good enough to throw another 200 million at it and push it out the door? Elden Ring was 150 to 200 million in development. Look, that makes sense. Look at Elden Ring. I mean, we're talking two very different games. We're talking Elden Ring, which could entertain you for hundreds, if not thousands of hours, with deep RPG, lore mechanics, and George R.R. Martin's name on it, which obviously has a hefty price tag. And Elden Ring was Game of the Year. That makes sense. You're saying Concord costs double that.
It's not only about the ongoing cost, which would be in the millions to keep the game going per month, but that the game cost about $400 million to make, soup to nuts. Sony put most of that money in.
400 million. That's crazy.
It is not only
believable, though,
because we had kind of said, like, this must be Sony's biggest loss ever on a game, and it is. It's the biggest game Sony's ever released from a budgetary standpoint from the first party or second party. So let that sink in.
It's crazy.
And it's totally unintuitive.
There's no way. From a budgetary standpoint, there's no way. This is Sony's biggest. So you're telling me on a number to number, this is the biggest game Sony's ever launched from a cost standpoint, but subsequently its biggest failure? What was the most recent Spider-Man game? Spider-Man 2 cost $300 million to make. Oh my God. How much did it cost to make God of War? $200 million. No shit. How do you go from God of War, 200 million, Spider-Man, 300 million, and then at the top you got Concord at 400 million? How does this happen?
There are games that are in development right now at Sony, first and second party, that are more expensive than this. But as of the games that have come out so far, so think about like Spider-Man 2 and so on and so forth. We know The Last of Us Part 2 cost $220 million. Spider-Man 3 is going to cost about $350 million. This game cost more than that. And they lost all of it because they made no money. They made about $1 million gross revenue, and then they gave it all back. So this is a huge, multiple hundreds of millions of dollar loss. Now the question is, why? Why did this happen? This game was heavily championed behind the scenes. Now we know this because Sony ended up, what's funny is that the game is presented in Q1 2023 as this, you know, we're kind of getting towards the end. The game is nowhere near being done. It's in a horrible position. And then Sony buys the team. The idea behind this was, and the term apparently verbatim had been used, that Concord is the future of PlayStation. That they had such major ambition for this game that it was referred to internally as a Star Wars-like project for Sony. That it can be repeatedly revisited over and over and over again, not only in cross-media, but in what we were seeing. We've already kind of seen little bits of it. So the weekly story vignettes that they were going to release, and then of course the inclusion in Amazon's Secret Levels anthology, that's like just scratching the surface of it.
Who said that? Who looked at Concord and was like, yes, this is going to have the same impact as Star Wars? Look, Star Wars dips into a lot of things. And look, I don't necessarily like Star Wars games. I definitely don't like Outlaws. But what Star Wars has is this nostalgia root of all of us grew up watching Star Wars. And so you had movies to different series, to now multiple series, to different games that we've played over the years. So it had a base to build off of. It's got a fan base. Nobody knew Concord, unless somebody tell me differently. Was Concord based on like a book or a manga or something? Like, is there something I don't know about Concord? As far as I know, this was its first reveal. Its universe was this was its first time in front of all of us. Like, to make a claim like this is the future of PlayStation, what I would think is like, okay, maybe if there was like this crazy single player experience that was delivered in the Concord universe that had like the impact of like the Halo series, and then they branched off to do these other projects, that being the most or Concord that we recently got to play, it being a hero shooter, that would make more sense. But I don't know how you can back into this with the hero shooter and say this is the future of PlayStation.
Ironically, the game was codenamed Chaos behind the scenes. And a major thing about the game is that there was, and I think we can kind of get this vibe from just the nature of the people making it and kind of the way the game reads and all that, a toxic positivity vibe. You weren't allowed to say anything, apparently internally, about this game, about how like something's wrong with it, character designs are not right, and so on and so forth. They really truly believe this was Herman Hulst's baby, apparently, and he internally was himself a massive champion of the game. So,
you know what this sounds like? This is identical to BioWare and Anthem. Y'all remember that? Now I don't know if I would call it positivity, but the thing about Anthem was like,
whoever like creatively led this game has a very fragile ego if you're not allowed to say anything bad about the game. Very, very fragile
feedback
ego.
Was not
ego.
Being directly received like, because it refused to
It's like Xi Jinping levels of fragility.
Acknowledge the competition when they were making Anthem. Remember the whole article Jason Schreier broke after, BioWare and Anthem pretty much was a flop, or Anthem was a flop, and subsequently they ended up, shutting everything down. The thing about Anthem, its biggest problem was there was no identity that was set in stone. There was no goalpost for what they were trying to do with the game. So everyone was effectively like deving, but they didn't know what they were trying to dev. And then when they would bring up, okay, this is supposed to be a looter, let's outline what's the competition out there, what's other looters like Warframe and Destiny. This is our division. These are our competition. How do we do what they do but better? Instead of that being brought to the table, it was immediately shot down. You weren't even allowed to mention things like Destiny 2.
It's not that. So the reason I'm telling you all of this, it's some interesting information, of course, but it's that I had said when people were like, Concord lost $200 million. Now people were pulling that money out because that's basically how much like some of the first party games like Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, etc. kind of cost in that frame. And I was like, there's no way that it cost that much. I was saying like it cost 9 figures probably, like low $100 million, but there's no way it cost $200 million. No, it cost $400 million. So, and I am totally solid on this source, by the way. So that's why I'm willing to share it with you. Because again, I'm not really a journalist. So yeah, the big things to take away, $400 million loss. The game was in horrible shape as of 18 months ago before release. Not even monetization, no onboarding, most content not even there. The game was in such bad shape at that point that they spent the budget of it again in urgent outsourcing to get the game finished from all of these different angles over an 18-month period. Internally, the game was considered part of the future of PlayStation with heavy cross-media references and a system of toxic positivity surrounding it that didn't allow anyone to meaningfully change the course of the game. Because if the people at the top truly believe in something, you're not going to be able to do much about that, I don't think, from the trenches. So I thought people would be interested in that, and just wanted to throw that out there that, yeah, Star Wars really apparently, or I'm sorry, Star Wars, Sony really saw this as a Star Wars-like project for them, like the potential to, and now it makes sense. Yeah. Not only why they spend so much money on it, but why they bought the team. So there are people there, and to me it's unclear who exactly the people are. I know some of the names. I don't want to get too deep into that, because a lot of the things I learned were off the record, but obviously this is on background. And it's like, yeah, now it makes a little more sense. You spent, and by the way, the $400 million, not included in how much it cost to buy the team. So
what is the purpose of buying the team if you had to end up outsourcing everything to get the game to a viable state to ship it? Dude, this is insanity to me, man. I feel like a toddler could look at this and say that's a terrible idea. All right, so from American Truck Songs right here, I can corroborate the part about the toxic positivity. Some sources I've spoken with blamed ahead in the same mentality carried over from the studio's Bungie's roots. I sensed the game would come together because the team was too good to fail. I'll have more next week. Yeah, that sounds very BioWare to me, yo. That too good to fail mentality seems to be a big problem. Dude, it's always whenever it's followed up with like magic. They're like, when people are like, well, we, got that magic, got that studio magic, and then it's like humble pie is right around the corner, By the way, this is by no means gonna be a situation that's gonna sink Sony. At the end of the day, like, I don't know how this is turning into like a console war thing in here. PlayStation's only won a long time ago, okay? We've already established Xbox. You guys, if you had not had Microsoft and the infinite money glitch, things would be way worse. If not, you guys would have been completely out a long time ago. Okay, no offense. Look, I'm a PC guy. This is not gonna sink PlayStation either. What this is gonna do though is now shift things for Sony. I would assume. I would think so. Instead of them doing this campaign to have all these live service games, I think now is the moment where Sony's gonna have to look at things, if they're smart, and say, maybe we need to do what we're good at. Maybe we need to invest in what we know. And when you start having games that are $400 million, when it costs more than Spider-Man, God of War, and all it did was make $1 million, you know, all it did was make $1 million on that colossal loss. You then need to we got to assess it from that point of view. Concord was testing the live service waters for what not to do with other live service titles. I don't think anyone's going to go in there and be like, let's take a damn near $400 million loss for a learning lesson. You know, let's just call it out. It is, man. This was a terrible play, and it seemed like it started from the top. It seemed like there were leaders that egotistically believed in this product, and you know, if you got a bunch of people around you telling you that, hey, this is not good, you may want to hear them out. You may want to listen to them. At the end of the day, for $400 million, you should not be getting a bare bone experience. For $400 million, you should be getting everything, all the bells and whistles, man. And you know, my question is, I saw, who was it that recently got let go? Is it the game director, or the game director that had to step down from Concord? I'm curious to know, like, even if the studio's even going to be around. What's the direction for that?
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.
Concord. Agreement or harmony between people or groups. At least that's the definition and likely emotion that the Firewalk Studios team wanted to evoke, formed from the remnants of the Destiny 2 development team and those that worked at Bungie. Firewalk Studios just recently launched Concord August 23, 2024, after a reported 4 to 5 years of development and over $100 million in budgeting. And then, in a shocking turn of events following a very negative reception, FS would pull Concord not even a full month later, citing needing to go back to the drawing board. With Concord currently dead and its future very much in flux, and not in the most positive of directions, it's found itself on this series, Death of the Game, a series where we take the largest contributing factors to the death of a game or company and navigate a timeline of events in an attempt to collect clues and bits of evidence, all culminating in every detective's favorite final deduction at the end of the video. There's a lot to cover today, even for such a short-lived multiplayer shooter, probably one of the shortest lived that we've covered yet. We're talking DEI narratives, accusations of poor development, developers not taking feedback, and so much more. So choose your hero. I know there's not much to choose from, and let's get to the case, detectives. The story begins with the beginning of Firewalk Studios. Firewalk Studios had an interesting inception. For starters, it was actually founded in 2018 as a part of another company, probably Monsters, ran by former Bungie CEO Harold Ryan. Firewalk Studios also featured former Bungie staff including Tony Hsu, former GM of Destiny at Activision, Alina Siegman, former executive producer at Bungie, as well as more Destiny developers and some other veteran talent. Firewalk in a short time would team up with Sony Interactive Entertainment for an upcoming AAA multiplayer game and would boast a team up to 150 developers. This would likely give Firewalk the budget and support that they needed working with Sony to make their multiplayer shooter. it also pretty much guaranteed that it wasn't going to launch on the Xbox platform. Now, oftentimes, Sony works with studios and then they end up acquiring them too. This was no different with Firewalk, who was acquired by Sony 2 years later. Now, I must confess, I don't know exactly why, but I can speculate that they want to own the studio working on their IPs potentially, and have more potential control in the process. Or perhaps make the developers working on their games more invested in working on them long term. But one thing was for sure, Sony and Firewalk were gearing up for a big announcement of their upcoming multiplayer shooter, and this was important with Destiny no longer receiving sequels or updates, and Sony these days lacking in the shooter realm. Concord, the secret multiplayer shooter having been worked on now for 3 years, would be introduced to the world May 24th, 2023. This would be Firewalk Studios' first title, a major AAA shooter. While this might be alarming for some, and it should be, if they had the veteran enough team and right leadership, they could make things work, especially with prior developers in the live service shooter world backing them. The trailer reveal for Concord, though, was perplexing to say the least. Now, I like it in the right context, but I have no idea what context this was even driving towards. And with the gift of hindsight, we know that this teaser did fuck all to really describe what Concord was supposed to even be about. And that's fine, you know, it's a teaser trailer and all. What was said was Concord was a bringing together of peoples. It's the power of games to build connection and inspire social play. The Firewalk team is driven by the type of exciting, unexpected moments and shared experiences that multiplayer games create. Every time you log on is the beginning of a new adventure, and every match is an opportunity for a new story. It's these ideals that define Concord, its unique universe of vibrant worlds, and its rich cast of colorful characters. This was sounding a lot like Destiny, maybe except for the last part, or something close to that with cooperative play and not just PvP. Overwatch and many other shooters lived off of teasing their game up until launch and the lore in it over the course of their marketing hype cycles, and they did so effectively by actually bringing life and humanity to their game and community, making players feel united in the way of the Overwatch. Just watch the teaser trailer. It's more about uniting humanity and stuff like that. Throw in this lengthy beta showcasing gameplay to many players on Twitch and YouTube as well, and Overwatch had a primed audience before they even launched. One teaser trailer isn't enough to doom anything, but it shows a misunderstanding to an extent of how to properly build a community and how to build and push effective marketing. Contrast this now with Valve's shooter, Deadlock, which they haven't even marketed at all, and is a personal favorite of mine. They just allowed people to access the game and invite each other to play, and then made sure to update the game and slowly build the community the old-fashioned way, from the ground up, just like League of Legends did it, just like Dota, and so many other successful multiplayer games. Sony was committing to live service games, however, as Sony president Toki would state, specifically launching 6 of those upcoming 12 titles by March of 2026. Concord was being listed as one of those live service titles. And for those out of the loop, live service basically means that when you buy the game, it continues to either introduce new monetization in the form of skins, missions, battle passes, or even DLCs and possible expansions. Of late, this has been associated with pay-to-win games or tragic failures like Anthem or Redfall, who got very hyped and then failed in nearly all aspects to deliver on such. But live service games aren't inherently bad, they just often feel like launching incomplete games that you have to pay for them to complete over time. They're just not good value propositions. The major cinematic trailer and gameplay reveal would drop at the same time, May 30th, 2024, and it's in these videos you can see more of a semblance of what Concord was supposed to be. For starters, the cinematic trailer was showcasing what looked to be Guardians of the Galaxy inspired vibes, understated a bit, with a cast of characters that seemed to be in delight and being silly or non-heroic. The problem was the first 3 characters introduced seemed straight lifted from Guardians of the Galaxy, and although they were partially charming, many were wondering what the trailer even had to do with the Freerunners being a band of criminals, especially with them being so happy-go-lucky. The trailer even talks about a rendezvous point, which sounds more like an extraction shooter or something, but something more glaring for me wasn't just how samey or generic the character designs were, it was how you basically could try to predict each of their powers and you would end up being wrong. That's not good character design, as in a character-based shooter or hero-based shooter. These characters need to communicate their role and abilities by how they look and how they play. With the gameplay trailer launching right beside it, it seemed to showcase what looked like a call to old arena action shooters in some ways, and a blend of more of a modern hero shooter in some ways too. While Concord looks impressive in many ways, the color palette, the environments, and the particle effects, even during this trailer, you could see people hesitant that it would be fast enough or unique enough of a concept to even last. And again, we have so much lack of tone and vision, where so many things just feel strapped together from different IPs and different games. Concord even early on just looked like a generic shooter, and the final scene just feels out of touch, again, which makes it seem like Concord had committed to this as a style of storytelling. Because freegunners, they're not heroes, they're professionals. And there's nothing wrong with criminals being likable in a video game, but the freerunners felt a lot more like a church basketball league where it's lame and tame and full of squares, and you can't even do things like celebrate or say cuss words. And I played in one of those, so I can attest. But I don't get the punchline, is what I'm trying to say. Professionals aren't always so likable or witty. They have to be relatable, especially professional murderers, right? The tone seemed completely off, and my thought is that they wanted to attract a younger audience, hence the clash. But that's not to say that Concord had to be super unique, but if it wasn't unique, it had to be iterative, the Japanese design style approach, and basically outdo Overwatch in all of its aspects. Both were going to be some difficult tasks, and for those wondering why, well, Concord had a reported budget of upwards of 150 million, meaning that there was a lot of money on the line for the game to just be a middling title. It had to be a hit. The expectations were being set sky high. The beta for Concord would take place July 2024, and I have a number of issues with this. For starters, unless it's a proper closed beta, the chances that the dev team can actually affect change to the scale that they might need in the short amount of time they would be given was going to be nearly impossible. I think this is an issue that many shooters run into lately, where they retroactively try to create a community instead of building one from the get-go. The interesting thing, and I will spend quite a bit of time remarking about it, is that the critics weren't even negatively receiving Concord in beta. In fact, I rounded up 8 different articles from a range of different journalists and found them to be rather positive in their feedback. The truth is, video game journalism in the critical sense from the media has been suffering for quite some time. Issue being, media outlets are directly incentivized to lowball their bad reviews and glaze their good ones, and are given very little time to review games. It would be a hypothesis if there wasn't already so much evidence to the contrary. Look at how the media treats COD titles that don't innovate or iterate. Game Rant stated that Concord in their experience had a level of polish and graphics not common in games like this, down to the environments and the characters being detailed. Game Rant would also state that they felt Concord had a unique identity and enough firepower to be a proper multiplayer shooter in the current market. Couch Soup's thoughts were basically like the classic I don't play this kind of game and probably won't impressions, but very positive ones. Partly due to the lack of experience probably, and a lack of understanding the market and the genre in particular. They aren't the target audience, which might seem like a strength, but you first need to have your own core audience, and I was trying to find that for Concord. Monster Vine in their impression stated that the game didn't seem like a trendy game, and yet acknowledged right after that, throughout their article even, that the game reminds them of other games. Digital Trend acknowledged at the very least that there didn't seem to be anything unique like a main gameplay hook, but at the very least found the game as a fun shooter not trying to overthink the genre. Which sounds like a compliment, but it's kind of more of like milquetoast the game. The super glazing part starts to happen with PC Gamer's review. And to be fair, your initial impressions can always change, but that should also be explained in your criticism and your later takes. Where I take issue seriously is that the writer, Morgan Park, had apparently never played any other hero shooters, because they would say things like that there were things like fun hooks I don't instantly recognize from other games. Anyone watching now can easily identify almost all of the aspects in heroes from other games. So what are we doing, PC Gamer? Maybe besides the whole team select thing that after each round of completion, it makes you play a new hero, which although it sounds like a cool concept because it incentivizes you to want to play new characters because you want to get the passive bonuses that you could get from them, as well as, well, they don't really give you a choice. Incentivizing you and not giving you a choice aren't the same thing, and it seems like Concord was going to struggle to understand the differences there. And although PC Gamer doesn't talk much about this particular aspect, many other impressions did as a strength, and I think that might be because it's unique, and one of the only unique things about Concord. I think of it more of like a good idea that's honestly probably poorly executed. But in this article we have yet more comparisons to COD and Overwatch at the same time, with claims that the much slower, less gun-dependent game is somehow more COD-like. I really question how many of these journalists even played the game, let alone shooters period. Eurogamer in general is a great nuanced site, but in their impressions here, it's like they don't even complete their own conclusions. They say Concord feels like a hodgepodge of games combined, and yet feel that the gameplay hook for the game will magically reveal itself post-launch because gamers will metagame? Huh? GameSpot acknowledged the difficult position that Concord was in, but felt like they built a solid foundation for the sci-fi multiplayer shooter, which seems like quite high praise for playing most likely less than 10 hours of a multiplayer shooter. But the writer, Jake Decker, also acknowledges that the characters feel asymmetric and yet the map feels symmetric, which is actually an interesting point. Finally, coming from a little-known outlet and a girl, DEI warriors, the gamer would put out a scathing critique from the beta asking what even is the point of Concord. Stacy would acknowledge the gameplay looked the same as other shooters that were similar, and the game felt like it lacked individual or team-guided passion. Stacy also would acknowledge that the characters were mostly forgettable. Finally, the whole original pitch, they would state, that matches the trailers and such of progressively building your world and revealing the lore and characters to your audience over time, didn't really seem to match up to other games like Helldivers or Destiny even, that could offer much better experiences there, especially because they weren't just PvP. My main point in this section is not just to shit on other video game critics, but shit on them in a way where I can teach you guys that that kind of soft glove handling is what leads to surprise failures like this in part and not learning from it. Poor criticism and game coverage leads to the chances of players purchasing more bad games or the game not having to prove itself that much. What I found so alarming about these impressions is that many of them 180 after the game launches, or many of those same critics start running defenses for the game. And while changing your opinion is totally fine, especially if it's grounded into something, I don't really feel that these critics are helping the industry learn many lessons from the situation and are actually poisoning the well even to a certain extent. You might argue perhaps none of the writers were able to see what was coming, and due to just chance or circumstance perhaps, but I don't really fully buy that. I think this highlights an issue with video game critics and their coverage of major titles. They don't play the games enough to really have that much of an opinion, and the opinions offered weren't the least bit critical nor looking to the future. It feels like many of these articles were just marketing, and that's a strange feeling. Because under the surface of all of this hype that I just listed, all of these outlets, and I didn't even cover all of them, only 2,388 players peak had played the game, which is so divorced from the game's media coverage you would seriously be shocked to learn that. And this was a free beta, which means that even when the game was free to play, people still weren't interested in playing it. Amazon's new secret level TV series would feature an entire episode featuring Concord in it, showing that Sony wasn't failing to try to pull out some major stops to try to help things, to make sure that their new AAA shooter was going to be a hit. Concord wouldn't have that much time in the hype cycle and would launch shortly after its gameplay reveal and early access test, August 23, 2024. Launching on PS5 and Windows, Concord was a first-person hero shooter where you played as one of the free gunners, professional criminals who are attempting to make their way in the galaxy, aka winning matches and killing people in the matches, but their personalities and cinematic intros would be reportedly revealed over time, so maybe it would help build that whole concept. Concord would receive a middling 62 out of 100 from 45 different critics and a much worse audience reception. But first, let's cover the media reception, cause I have some names to catch up with. Couch Soup would state that they weren't surprised, but let down. However, when you read their previous impressions, they were only positive and even suggested people to buy the game. Then in their more recent article, pushed that, well, it was already predetermined. And then that they wanted to anyway try the game and break the cycle. I have no idea what any of this means. Digital Trends was rather positive in their review, basically arguing that because the market doesn't like the game, it will fail. Wow, tantalizing analysis, which make you personally liking it, especially without couching that context, pretty useless, right? Now, PC Gamer is an interesting case. First, we have two different journalists covering the game, so the differing opinions aren't that wild, but editors also approve articles, and you don't only have to rely on your own perspective. Sometimes talking things over with another panel or other writers is helpful to see where you stand. But the PC Gamer review is one of the most negative ones now, stating that the game feels out of touch and out of time, and that the characters are mostly duds, as well as the world itself being way too full of poor Guardians of the Galaxy, Borderlands, and Firefly type humor. That's because, as I add, the issue with these comparisons are that, well, these are crew-based shows and games, and Concord, despite pushing itself as one, wasn't really. It was PvP only focused as a shooter, which feels quite different than a crew-based cooperative game. Eurogamer has something interesting happen. Their main review, completely different than their Portuguese review. The main review starts off with writer Rick Lane literally mocking the concept of the game and the genre itself. Great start. Then they argue, well, the game didn't work because the genre isn't really that old and it's just more of a fad. Then they literally admit themselves that TF2 bucks that trend. The writer personal analysis aside, which is probably where most of my issue with the review lies, they actually acknowledge the game lacking properly identified characters, the limp and weird looks of them, and how the game modes were basically copy-pasted from other games, like Trophy Hunt being a variant of TDM, basically Kill Confirmed, being the most unique, and Signal Chase being the King of the Hill mode with multiple moving control points. However, in the Portuguese review, it's far more negative, and actually more helpful in its analysis. First, writer Jorge Salgado postulates that Concord not having a single player and coming from a single player developer and publisher was already a huge red flag, and they're kind of right. Second, they state that the game, despite its large budget of over 150 million reportedly, now also being reported at 200 million, was still poorly promoted. Jorge's review, which is the best review on the game in my opinion, goes on to acknowledge some of the bright spots of the game, such as the visuals, some of the heroes being actually fun, before making a scathing take that the game feels like it was made in ChatGPT without any unique element that makes it viable as an option. Finally, they point to the $40 price tag and how their game has no true unique hook to it. Their final point is one that I will expound on later because it's a great one that I agree with strongly, which is that Concord seemed far better suited as a Destiny-like space adventure game. But it should also be mentioned that a $40 price tag after Overwatch became free to play just seems kind of tone deaf. Now, ironically, IGN's initial coverage of Concord, including in the beta, was pretty tame, and actually acknowledged full well the game had some serious hurdles to overcome. However, not that it doesn't make sense monetarily, IGN's post-coverage is much more glazier. They would state in their conclusion that Concord isn't the most innovative or content-heavy hero shooter you could play, but with such fantastic competitive gameplay, 16 compelling characters to master, and 12 well-designed maps, it's got the makings of something that could go the distance in the months and years to come. In fact, it's a testament to its FPS chops that even while it has virtually non-existent story and a serious need for signature game modes, I still found myself losing dozens of hours to its PvP charms. Hopefully, the live service roadmap will do its thing and show this promised shooter the love it needs to become something truly special. But right now, it's at least good enough for me to recommend trying out. And you have some of the largest copium I've seen and spotted in these reviews. Literally, in spite of the evidence staring you in the face, like the beta player numbers and the launch numbers on Steam being abysmal, how can you say with a straight face, even ignoring all of the other points already raised, that Concord had a bright future? Well, IGN, you start to see why people stopped taking you seriously a good time ago, at least in a proper critical circle. While your opinion is sacred in the sense of it is your own, you can make it your own uniquely or follow someone else's if you choose. The problem here is that these aren't just opinions, they are analysis and journalism from actual paid journalists and paid media critics. And thus, there has to be a standard, and sadly, it seems as if, largely, the major video gaming media outlets are just only getting worse. Concord would only sell 25,000 copies, and according to IGN's analysis cited, the main reason was that, well, it was an oversaturated market. Where do I even start with this? Simply being a hero shooter doesn't magically make your game untouchable or unplayable. It means that you have to measure up against your competition just like in any other context in business. The answer isn't start competition, it's a product that's not good or strong or unique enough to stand up to that competition in the first place. Gaming is competition, business is competition, and they lost competitively. The IGN article further talks about how analysts state that the game isn't unique enough, but that the other games in the past got by not being unique because they just cashed in on being a hero shooter in a hero trend. How does this shit even get published? Their examples are Valorant and Apex Legends. These aren't even the same kinds of game and aren't even the same kinds of game as Overwatch. They are distinctively different games with different designs and service different audiences, even amongst each other. And then we have claims that Black Myth Wukong is what shook Concord's player base. I mean, like, are you guys kidding me? Is gaming existing an excuse for them as well? And I will leave you guys with their final bit of analysis. Riveting as well, I might add. Sometimes everything that can go wrong does go wrong, although it's quite rare to see everything go this wrong. Wow, I'm sure glad I just read through and analyzed this IGN article supposedly based on talking to other analysts. Fuck me. This is a senior IGN writer and a team supporting her, and they've offered nothing but dud analysis and coverage on Concord the entire time. After Concord's major failure, though, eyes and expectations were already turning to other live service multiplayer shooters that were supposed to come from Sony, like Marathon, which was recently swapped to an extraction shooter like Tarkov, and then Fair Game, or Fair Games, a heist-based shooter with very little details revealed other than it's being developed by Haven Studios, which is one of the other studios under Sony's wing. Even if Sony could try and learn from their major mistake that just happened, they didn't even almost have enough real time to apply their lessons, and were going to have to likely take more egg on their face in the process. Now, as much as I, unlike many of you probably will feel in the comments, I don't actually delight in seeing games enter this series, especially early on, in very controversial ways. And as much as I want both of these shooters to succeed, Marathon for OG reasons and fair game because I love heist games, I don't really have the highest hopes after seeing how Concord was handled even from the Sony perspective. Sony has no excuse not to promote or market their games better, especially with so much money riding on the line. And with Concord already receiving such negative feedback and backlash and poor sales, the chances of that improving anytime soon just weren't going to happen, and the opportunity and window were already well missed. In a shocking turn of events, even for a game that was receiving quite the middling reception, Sony would announce that September 3rd, 2024, that Concord would be brought down on the 6th. Just weeks after its launch. Sony stated that they wanted to determine the best path ahead and they would be offering refunds to the game. Now, would this be an Anthem scenario where a massive rebirth change and patch was promised but never comes? Or perhaps they would actually commit to feedback and work on developing something closer to what people would enjoy, sort of like No Man's Sky. Now, the first thing that's different is that Sony immediately offered full refunds, so that's a big difference in the Anthem scenario. But I don't really think that Sony and Firewalk are prepared to, especially with such a poor reception, to dedicate to sticking to their game. Especially when, in my opinion, much of the game, including its whole base foundation, is kind of shaky at best. I think a good way to analyze this is seeing how the developers react to things, and I have gone through tons of tweets and articles concerning this, and while many people will try to construct a narrative that somehow being proud of your own work even if it failed is an evil thing, and more room temperature equals stuff, it seems largely that the most negative part of the developer reception is that they don't outright acknowledge the failure. Which is a fair criticism, to be fair, but you can't from that then spin that the developers believe that they did no wrong or that they don't also acknowledge any of the faults. The problem is that if you want to keep working on your game and also keep working on future games, facing things head on is much better because it builds or rebuilds trust. Where things get a bit too performative for me, in a non-helpful sense, is when a bunch of developers came out and started expressing solidarity, many of them using their own game examples, like Spellbreak or Cliffy B with Lawbreakers, as trying to say that they could understand the pain. And in a broad sense, I'm sure they can. I'm sure there's a lot of similarities. But this was a unique failure, and not seeing it that way is not helpful, even for your own growth, which is, why it's not really surprising to see Cliffy B being one of those to join in. I just dislike the narratives from other developers that started erecting, where they say that you didn't deserve this, or that you shouldn't be ridiculed this much, and I have to completely and vehemently disagree. First off, I believe in free speech. Second, anyone who creates art publicly opens themselves up to failure. Publicly, aka being judged by the public eye. Yeah, there's rules and rules of the establishment, but the whole concept of the public eye getting to mock you is not really fair, but it's existed for thousands of years. I'm not saying they get to full-on mock you.
No, Nerd Slayer is wrong. Like, if you make art, people have to like your art, otherwise they suck. They are bad people and must be punished.
Trust
they can
me,
criticize
that's not
your
something
art.
that I even appreciate in my comment section, as many
How dare
people
they.
have figured out even more so recently. But I don't really understand the deserve this sentiment. Nobody
What kind of
deserves a
bullshit is that?
failure or being criticized per se, but when you have a lot of money on the line, high expectations, and you chose a controversial approach in a certain sense, and again, you're releasing public art, why are you surprised when people are there to be critical of said things? Not all critics and critiques will be good. In fact, most analysis in general sucks, just like I've pointed out already, especially from a general gamer, sorry. But what you
If people
have
don't support
with
my
Concord
art,
in many ways is
they
real
must be
issues
far
and real
right.
flaws of a game
They're
and its
the-
design
they're
being
the
caught
boys
up
in
in a
khakis,
culture war in the process. And maybe that's
trapezing
also
across,
why the developers and
like,
other developers
Texas,
are kind of weighing in on things.
carrying
What I
those
mean is
Nazi
this.
flags.
I'm actually going to defend Concord and its developers for two things and two things only. One, they attempted art, publicly. Anyone who does that has my respect. But the second thing that I will defend is this lazy and fairly idiotic narrative surrounding the game and its team to an extent, that it's somehow being woke and DEI or diversity, equity, and inclusion filled is what made the game fail above all else. And me not pointing that out means that I'm the shill. Go woke, go broke. Then why do all major corporations have LGBTQ plus pushes, little pins and flags? Because even if they are just being performative and they don't support the rights of humans, they aren't stupid enough to fully alienate paying audiences because they can make money off of them. And trust me, corporations care a lot more about money than values. But don't get me started on the narrative with the Sweet Baby Inc. and some of the other games that I've covered, a company that's also worked on some of the biggest hits in the past 10 years. So simultaneously, when you fail, it's all your fault, and when you succeed, well, you didn't really have any real involvement. So it doesn't count. It's like a child's logic. But let's focus on the woke narrative for Concord for a second, and for the rest of the duration of this segment. Prominent woke discoverer website DEI Detected had the following analysis to add. A robot has pronouns, along with other chars. The women are fat and ugly, and one of them is masculine. But don't worry, they have proof. They point to Sony, a corporation who benefits from being inclusive, because on their website they reference DEI initiatives. Where to even start? Well, a corporation making money off of being inclusive. Wow, that's very surprising, and not very good proof. But a robot having pronouns is kind of funny to me, because all sci-fi IPs have the ability to gender your robot to an extent. That's what modulators are for. What a totally idiotic and also ignorant thing that you would also have ignored popular media to have missed already to take issue with then, and then blame a game's failure on is cartoonish. The second reason being a cast of ugly and fat characters. Now this is where I mention the narrative actually coinciding with real analysis and true issues. That's because when people identify issues with the heroes and their likability and broad appeal, they're right. That's true. The characters in Concord aren't very heroic or cool and lack visual identity, so it's difficult to understand what they do or what their personalities are, and in many cases are either generic or simply not appealing as a character design. Very similar to Lawbreakers. So maybe Cliffy B should be talking about this topic. While the fool points to reasons they manufacture first in their head, then confirm with their eyes in earnest, called confirmation bias, the reason that the heroes aren't appealing is fairly simple. Not many people find it very heroic to play as characters who don't look very heroic. Sorry, a fat rounded character, as in most of her armor is also round and her belly is not exciting to look at nor play as, and doesn't motivate me or many players to do anything either. You can do so many other variants of the same idea.
You think it's not exciting
like
until you
Zarya
see the
or
Rule
Ayla the
34
Huntress in Skyrim.
about the
There
character.
isn't
Then it's
anything
more
wrong with
exciting.
being a big, strong girl, but Daw or
It's more
Duchess doesn't
exciting
look
that
big
way.
or strong. They look like you could roll them off of a cliff. And sorry, we're talking professional criminals here. In a competitive shooter environment, it's so hard to stomach so much of that. I mean, I'll just self-insert here and say that, like, my grandma grew up on the farms of Minnesota and in the south of Texas, and was way tougher looking or acting than any of the characters throughout this entire game, like Daw or Duchess. And as for the ugliness of the characters, this is a valid critique, because players want to play characters that don't look like themselves. Gotcha. And myself. But seriously, you want to play a character who looks cool and feels cool. That's one of the best and most important things about gaming. With all the comparisons to Firefly and Guardians of the Galaxy, not a single member of the Firefly cast is unfit, nor doesn't have their own personality and utility. Now, as for the characters looking less feminine, this actually goes back to what sells. Sex sells. If you're questioning this in some deep ethical, emotional, or philosophical sense, please go do that off somewhere alone in a temple. Nobody cares, man. That's not how the world works, even if you or I don't want that to be the case. If sex sells, it means that sexy characters sell, and that works both ways.
Like a bisexual.
It doesn't mean your whole cast has to be fuckable, but it means that you probably should have at least most of your cast enough to make players excited to play them, honestly, just because of their appearance, potentially. And looking hot or sexy doesn't always have to mean just in some pure raw sense. It could also be because of the outfit, the fashion, and the personality.
It could be, yeah, the
now,
personality.
a thing that I wanted to point out is that the hottest guy
Personality
in
could be
Concord is
hot.
Linux, because you can see him and he's a dragon dude with male pattern baldness in the form of a mohawk. I'm just kidding. But Theo is probably the most conventionally attractive guy in the entire cast. The problem is that that's not a very large compliment, because he looks generic as fuck all. Mushroom Head and the old lady just don't do it for me either, and I've played tons of old ladies in video games like Twisted Metal and even Deadlock, and I root for the old lady in the anime all the time. But who are these characters even for? Who are the target audiences? This is what the character designers should have been questioning, while at the same time trying to find ways to maintain that character's unique identity and personality. Part of what helps in this process is character design through outline, without color. If you do this to most major shooters, you can determine what character, especially in hero shooters and MOBAs, is being played. Also, fighting games is another great example. The outlines in Concord, though, don't really give you much information, and they aren't very flattering either. They're kind of just like blobs and amorphous, like whatevers. Worse, the actual character designs themselves are detailed, high fidelity, but to what end? Why does Baz have a giant flowing coat despite being a ballerina murderer? As somebody who does martial arts and does a little bit of flipping, that seems unpractical to do flips in. Then you have characters like Hamar, who look nothing like their character actually acts or performs. She's a bowcast-wielding flame mage? She looks like a warlock or a blood priest. Is the bow because she looks like a vampire hunter? Meanwhile, Jabali looks like a less cool and ironically less gay-looking seer from Apex Legends. Meanwhile, check out this gameplay on screen and see how different and unique seer plays and looks. Roka looks a lot more like a generic version of Valorant's Raze, and you get the idea. I don't want to spend all video making these examples because there's so many to make. But even the things like the names of these characters don't do much favors in Concord. Like maybe Roka or Roka's like Rocket? But what does Jabali imply, or Hamar, or Baz? Meanwhile, you have other characters in other hero shooters like Raze, Seer, Genji, McCree,
These are
and so on and
diverse
so
names.
forth. The main
Don't
point that
argue.
I want to make is that the
Don't
character
argue or
design
you're
sucking
fired.
in Concord is true, but it has very little to do with the character's pronouns or if they're gay. It has a lot more to do with their character's design, its identity, and how it communicates and connects to those abilities, and finally, how it makes the players
This
feel when
is
you play
already
them.
fired.
For example, Raze in Valorant
been
is
fired
gay as
10
hell,
million
fire
times
and
over
boom, and
by
I
the
enjoy
HR.
playing her greatly, and I didn't even know she was gay until Killjoy was added later on. The problem is more of when you make it their sexual identity and preference, their actual personality. Here's what I mean. When you meet a gay person next time, or even a trans person, I bet you will make
been
an
put on the
interesting
blacklist
observation
of
that most
do
gay
not
people,
hire.
or even LGBTQ plus people, are fairly normal and not representative of the caricatures that you would often see in the media. The thing is, for some reason, for character designers in video games and movies and shows, it isn't enough. They must make a character also look full-blown gay, or full-blown bucking whatever social trend. In reality, they should be part of a character's identity, and it's okay for them to buck said trend, but it shouldn't be their sole personality, or the sole thing you see and think about when you look at them. Here's an example. I wish child poverty wasn't a thing, but if you make a hero for me and call it Mr. Stop Child Poverty and he's super on the nose, that's fucking lame, dude. Give me a rich Batman saving the poor people like me any day of the week. You can't make social issues a character. You have to build them into a character's identity in a way that's relatable and thus makes sense. And that's an issue that I have with the LGBTQ+ and DEI representation push myself, is in the process of doing it, they're creating tons of easy targets for angry onliners and anti-LGBTQ+ people to latch onto and then blame for failure. By not actually creating a proper character, this means a fun and liked character, even if she's gay, bi, fat, green, whatever, you're kind of doing more harm than good and designing a cast of characters people both forget and actually grew to loathe. But did you notice how I didn't just say DEI characters and call it a day? Well, because that's not actual analysis and doesn't even come close to telling the full scope of the issues. But brace yourself for the brave online DEI warriors in the comments calling me a shill because I don't have the same 3 brain cells that you guys do. The shit analysis doesn't end there though, in my analysis of it either. This time going back to the world of video game journalism with another repeat customer, IGN. The analysis now is that, well, too much time in the oven is a bad thing. And that's right, as the analogy implies, of course. But when I see such painful logic, and IGN isn't the only one to push this, but it's written right here in the article, that being late to the party, according to IGN, means you have to bring something new to the table. Which is also true. But the issue with this logic is that it states, or implies, that if Concord launched 6 years or 8 years ago, it would have been a vastly different of an outcome. But my issue with this logic is it ignores most of the other issues we have already outlined, on top of the fact that it would still be going up against the competition already used as an excuse, but this time in their heyday. So again, we have this whole nothing burger with some truth tacked onto it, because yeah, it's true, the longer you take to launch on a market space, the more developed it becomes, which is why you have to become more unique. But something that must be also acknowledged is that since I see a lot of varying numbers floating around, I have only been told by my sources and read the public sources that the game was worked on for 4 years, and not this like cartoonish 8 or 6 that people have been repeatedly saying, which is older than the company making the game itself. This means that the game was in actual development by 2020 already, meaning that Overwatch was already out for 4 entire years. Meanwhile, TF2 was out for 13 years. Concord didn't have an excuse to not learn from its competition, nor the games that came before it. Instead, it seemed to try to borrow the best aspects from these games and then pile them all together into something that ended up barely being edible. Now, I've used this analogy before, but here we go again, the part Cajun Southern boy making his Cajun food references. Gumbo, man, gumbo's incredible. It's highly customizable, combines all different kinds of proteins and textures, and is oftentimes quite spicy or flavorful. The thing is, it takes forever to make. No, seriously, sometimes people feel gumbo is simply just piling a bunch of random things together with rice and sausage, and eating it. And while that's mostly true, Cajun food isn't as pretentious as the French counterpart. If you aren't careful, you can tip the balance too far into one direction and end up with a whole pot of barely edible gumbo. That's why it's important to stick with what works, and while making improvements where you can. So all the social politics aside, what about Concord was better than Destiny or Overwatch? Visuals, maybe, like the maps are gorgeous in Concord, and maybe even in a mechanical sense in some ways, but the visual identity of both of those games are far more positively received and remembered. Let's not kid ourselves. So in the end, you have a game that copies most of its contemporaries, has shinier graphics, an unlikable cast, and seemed to, throughout the entire process of the game's development, lack a proper leader and someone willing to be the public-facing, no matter the negativity person. That's kind of what doesn't sit right with me about Concord. It feels like there's this lack of vision, but on top of that, a lack of vision usually implies a lack of proper leadership guiding towards that collective vision. Instead, it seems like a game by committee with none of the true benefits of such. I can't even tell you who the leader on the Concord project was up until I looked this stuff up, of course. And even with the gift of hindsight, I still really don't know. And sometimes not all designers are fit for leadership. But anyway, this is a red flag for me personally because it shows a development team or leadership team unwilling to stick their neck out and their own creativity and vision out there on the line and be an actual leader. We have police sirens going in the background because Concord has been busted. I'm just kidding. Contrast this to many other shooters and it's quite clear. If the devs really believed in Concord in the way that they were saying, it seemed that their leadership didn't, to the same extent, at least in my opinion. Because even if you take an experienced development team with a big budget and tons of support, if you don't lead them correctly, they can make a game that gets canceled in a few weeks, despite how pretty it looks. And to be clear, as a leader myself, if I fail within just a few weeks or a few matches of a martial art match or something, I'm looking at that as a failure. I want to make one last comparison before my voice gives out and before I put this case to rest, detectives. One I feel that is very important for putting a bow on my analysis of the situation. Deadlock. And maybe this is just an excuse for me to talk about it because I'm having fun playing it as I put 60 hours into the game before it opening up 24/7, but Deadlock is Valve's in development multiplayer MOBA shooter. For me, the genius with Deadlock is, besides featuring the iconic Valve style and design in many ways, is that the game masquerades like a hero shooter, when in actuality, it's much more akin to Smite or Overwatch. In Deadlock, while you can focus on your aim with certain item combinations, most of the characters are ability driven, with guns serving as their kind of main farm and auto attack of a sort. Farming, of course, is killing creeps, or in this case, gathering souls, which allow you to gain gold or souls in this case, meaning that the game feels like a MOBA with guns. The game mode is also incredibly complex, despite seeming quite simple in MOBA terms. Not only does it have the classic MOBA approach of having lanes, defeat the main boss, and towers to win the game, with creeps pushing the different lanes and so on and so forth, it innovates the concept with different types of tower defenses in the way of the champions and guardians and walkers, and a zipline that allows you to travel quickly around the map that kind of reminds me of Heroes of the Storm. The map itself also promotes vertical play, not unlike the Paragon of old, and has tons of creep camps that you can farm, sort of like the jungle, as well as various buffs and souls littered throughout the map in the form of boxes and vases. Deadlock allows players from multiple genres, shooters and MOBAs, to come together and find a common place in a team environment with multiple characters offering all types of flavor. That alone makes it fairly unique. Throw in how much alike it actually is to games like Smite and Team Fortress 2 and even Dota with the items, and that those things actually help Deadlock, as players can easily identify them and their playstyles and characters from such easier.
That's our
Especially because the character design in Deadlock is semi-realistic, and it doesn't have too much of the anime-looking stuff that goes on in Concord that makes it hard to even understand what's going on. It's just much easier to understand visually, including with the particle effects flying. Deadlock's characters are also just easier to understand in what they do by merely looking at the characters. Ivy flies around and drops hot sticky loads. Infernus is the flame guy or flame man, you get the idea. They even have an LGBTQ plus character, and none of you would be any of the wiser as to who it actually is, unless you actually read and pay attention, which is actually how it should be. Concord was often touted quite positively that it was existing in this middle ground between Valorant and Overwatch, probably because it had 2 out of 5 modes be this one life Valorant style. And it was a hero shooter. But who was even asking for a middle ground between these two games? They aren't even the same style of game despite featuring heroes. And why make a PvP only title when you're selling so much about this concept of teamwork and unity, even into the characters themselves? Instead, you turned down the whole temperature of your series and made everything kind of seem very trivial. Instead, Concord ironically had the same issue as another game that I covered, Brink. No unique game modes that force unique hero designs and balancing, as well as make the game stand apart. Both games just took existing modes and barely tried to improve them. And the outcome was that they became featured quickly on this series just like this video. By just copying modes in your shooter, you're basically making it to where it's so hard to distinguish between those games and your game, and in the moments that you have to distinguish, if you aren't distinguishing positively, it's going to be seen as a negative thing. It also affects balance because balance becomes a lot more rock, paper, scissors because it doesn't have a choice in how you chose to design the game. I can't help but also feel that the same style and approach, but in something closer to a sci-fi space adventure game, would have fared just much better. It would have also allowed the developers to make the gameplay, even in the multiplayer, more rambunctious and not so focused on being as balanced as I talked about. Which
like
allows for a lot more
record
fun,
speed,
thinking in
1
ways
month
of like
in, already
Hearthstone,
death of
right?
the game.
I guess when I envision a successful Concord, I envision this title that sheds the classic hero shooter meta and becomes something more of this casual and outside of the box shooter, like Borderlands or Destiny. Or even just think about shooters like Killzone, which I also covered in my Brink video. Killzone was a well-respected single-player series on the Sony platform that also had a pretty good multiplayer, especially Killzone 3. It's like Concord doesn't match any of the titles that came before it, and that doesn't seem like a positive thing, because it puts all the pressure on you performing in the only way you can perform. With that music playing, detectives, it means that we have analyzed enough analysis and been a meathead enough to reporters and supposed video game critics and gamers, and most importantly for this segment and this video, gathered enough clues and bits of evidence to solve the case. So for those who weren't paying attention or just missed the clues between the cracks and overwhelming amount of information, why did Concord die? No proper leadership. ChatGPT the game. Nearly no marketing or proper promotion. Failed to differentiate or build enough of their own design. Lack of single player or a content-filled multiplayer.
I wouldn't doubt
Conflicting world and story design. Failure to understand character design in a character-driven game. Outdated business model. An engine change from UE4 to UE5. As well as, while it's not an official reason, I want to also mention that the game was being conceived during the height of COVID and that whole drama there. Now, there are many lessons to learn from Concord. That's why I spent so much time talking about criticism and being critical of it in this video, which is not something that I typically do, because I want people to take the right lessons from this entire thing and not choose the lazy and basement-dwelling takes that don't have much basis in reality and don't push gaming forward at all, nor really educate you on much. In a sense, it's letting Concord off easy, by just attributing its failure to some anti-ideology you don't enjoy, because so much more of the game was missing beside that. The game itself lacked a proper soul, and in my 6 years of covering this stuff on my channel and 15 plus years of testing major titles, this is one of the rare times that I can say that that was the case. Meaning it's one thing when a WoW clone or Korean MMO clone lacks originality, right? They have smaller budgets and you don't really end up expecting them to be that different. But when you have nearly 200 million in budgeting and you're backed by Sony, the expectations are much higher, and lacking originality in that case is kind of a literal game-ending sin. Because I've covered 100 titles plus and I've played way more to count, and the amount of times that I can say a game lacked personality is extremely low, especially in this context in a major title. That means that Concord's failure was less about needing to be more unique and more about not being anything special. A game too afraid to offend anyone. Thanks for watching.
All who lack honor shall wither. All who lack faith shall be lost.
Man, there's so many videos about Concord. I'm just gonna I'm gonna listen to all of them. It's fun.
Emperor.
It's good background noise. I bet there's like I bet there's like hundreds of hours worth of Concord content right now.
What do you mean it's been taken down? That is ridiculous. Let me peek into the cosmos and see what happened. Oh, What a load of wank. This honestly might be the biggest failure in gaming since E.T. on the Atari 2600. Well, yeah, I know that caused the gaming crash of 1983, nearly collapsing the entire industry, but Concord's...
This is so this is like me listening to Concord is like, it's like the game dev version of the Human Centipede, right? So Sony puts out Concord. Well, Firewalk Studio puts out Concord under, and Sony publishes it, right? And then it fails. Content creators make content on it, and then I ingest that, and then I can shit out a game, and then the content creators can ingest that again, and then it just goes back and forth in a beautiful cycle of unending content.
I bloody hope so.
Oh my
so
god.
For anyone who's in the dark as much as I was, Concord was a first-person hero shooter from Firewalk Studios and published by Sony.
Back
and
and
on face
forth,
value, its only
forever
plan was
and
being
ever.
a hero shooter in the year of our Lord 2024, but this isn't anything new. Unfortunately, shitty games are released every day. This isn't out of the ordinary. Concord was launched and then subsequently removed from existence within 2 weeks of its initial release, and this could be largely due to its double-digit player count within days of release in a genre that requires substantial player counts to even have a chance of existing, but if we go deeper, the worse it gets. Something that sets this game apart is the fact that it was developed over nearly 8 years. Now, games do take a long time to make, let's say on average around 2 to 5 years to prototype, create systems, sound, playtest and polish, but regardless of experience and how many games you've shipped in the past, the process of creating any game is a long and difficult journey. But 8 years is still a lot longer than average. So why is this? Because looking at Concord, it doesn't look like it would take 8 years to make, but 8 years in development doesn't mean that there were artists and programmers just sitting at their desks chipping away at it the whole time. More than likely, they probably got stuck in the iteration process attempting to capture the magic of another specific game. I'm sure you can guess which one. Yeah, Paladins, of course, Ludo. See, attempting to grasp why another game succeeded and resonated with players is a difficult task at the best of times. Some games even forgetting how to do it themselves. I'm looking at you, Overwatch. But at least Firewalk Studios had the time and seemingly the money to actually attempt this prototyping. What was their budget again, Ludo? Okay, see, I have to have all of this info handed to me because the game doesn't exist anymore. So, over $100 million. Sorry, what? With not including marketing, that makes this one of the most expensive games ever made that wasn't an MMO or a huge open world RPG experience. And usually, games are this expensive to produce because the sheer scale that is required for those games to simply function, but this was a hero shooter with only 16 characters and 12 maps on release, and it took them 8 years, costing over $100 million. What? You could have made 100 individual $1 million indie games rather than making, I don't know, nothing?
It was $1 million.
How is this possible? Now, this is monumental. It might just be the biggest
Okay,
failure
I'll listen to
I've
something
ever
else.
seen.
This guy's voice is a little bit annoying. So is mine.
Nintendo is suing the Pal World creator Pocket Pair for infringement and damages. I wanted to talk a little bit about this suit and why I think it sets a bit of a dangerous precedent when it comes to lawsuits in the video game industry. Let's talk about it right now. So first things first, I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey today. We're going to look at the patents that have come up where Nintendo was patenting the idea of throwing a ball. We're going to take a look at patents in the past and how that has, in my opinion, not allowed some people to create some other cool products utilizing the same ideas. Let's get into it, starting with what Nintendo said. Filing a lawsuit for infringement of patent rights against Pocket Pair. Now, this is obviously Nintendo's right to do this, but here's what they say. Nintendo, a bunch of tags, together with the Pokemon Company, filed a patent infringement lawsuit in the Tokyo District Court against Pocket Pair Inc. on September 18, 2024. This lawsuit seeks an injunction against infringement and compensation for damages on the grounds that Pal World, a game developed and released by the defendant, infringes multiple patent rights. Nintendo will continue to take necessary action against any infringement of its intellectual property rights, including the Nintendo brand itself, to protect the intellectual properties it has worked hard to establish over the years. Pal World responded to this post the following day saying, regarding the lawsuit, yesterday a lawsuit was filed against our company for patent infringement. We have received notice of this lawsuit and will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into the claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we are accused of infringing upon, and we have not been notified of such details. Pocket Pair is a small indie company based in Tokyo. Our goal as a company has always been to create fun games. We will continue to pursue this goal because we know that our games bring joy to millions of gamers around the world. Palworld was a surprise success this year, both for gamers and for us. We were blown away by the amazing response to the game and have been working hard to make it even better for our fans. We will continue improving Palworld and strive to create a game that our fans can be proud of. It is truly unfortunate that we will be forced to allocate significant time to matters unrelated to game development due to this lawsuit. However, we will do our utmost for our fans and to ensure that indie game developers are not hindered or discouraged from pursuing their creative ideas. We apologize to our fans and supporters for any worry or discomfort that this news has caused. As always, thank you for your continued support of Palworld and Pocket Pair. Now, I wonder if they're throwing in that, oh, this is going to cause us time and resources note, just so that they can sue for damages or something for Nintendo for wasting their time. Maybe it's like a countersuit strategy, but it is true. They are going to have to deal with this now. And one thing I do want to clarify is this isn't about the use of any, what are they called? PALs that look like Pokemon. You'll remember this thread from back in the day where Biofrog was claiming that the models were ripped out of the game. Nintendo is not going after anything related to the models. They are specifically talking about patent infringements. So the big development is Dr. Serkan Toto had an interview where he talked to somebody at a website about the whole case. I don't know. I've never heard of the website before. It's a news source, but I know Dr. Serkan Toto. He's interviewed at IGN. He is an analyst in the industry, and he thinks that this will likely end very bad for Pocket Pair, looking at Nintendo's legendary track record, especially in Japan, regarding lawsuits like this one. Now, Nintendo is obviously somebody that Japan is very proud of, and when they bring a suit, it's like, okay, yeah, this is clearly utilizing the same idea as Nintendo. You have to award them damages. Now, here's some of the patents that they have. Let me bring one up really quick. So here's the game program, game system, game device, and game processing method. Basically, the idea that you throw a ball at a thing and then it catches said thing, nice, is a patent that was filed by Nintendo, and it looks like it was filed in September or something, and it's set to expire in 2041. Now, this whole idea of throwing a ball and then having the animals fight.
Nice.
If you've played Palworld,
Nice.
Yes, it works that way,
It's
but
the
it's
nice.
a
They
little
need-
bit
they
different.
just need to
and
change
the
it to
reason that I'm
rice.
concerned about this is because
Rice.
back in the day, there was this little game called Middle Earth, The Shadow of Mordor. And it had this system that a lot of people liked. It was called the Nemesis system. You might remember it's from WB Games. And it was really, really cool. Long story short, you get served an ad every 10 seconds now on YouTube. And you had these enemies that you could fight. And there was this system where you could say, okay, well, there's all of these characters. I want to brainwash one and have him infiltrate the crew. And when you would encounter them in the field, you would have a history with them because you would die and come back to life. And he would be like, I killed you and now you're back, just my rotten luck. This is a really, really cool system that can never be utilized by anybody else because it was patented by Warner Brothers. And you can actually see the patent here. It sort of shows NPC runs away from Flare, like all of this stuff happens. There's the Overlord, the War Chief, and then all of the different traits of the characters. And they actually patented this idea of having characters in Shadow of Mordor that would have wars against each other. And the reason I don't like the Nintendo suit, and I have a little bit of a concern about it, is because Pocket Pair did something that was obviously like Pokemon. Nobody's denying that. But they did things like they had RPG mechanics in it. They had this whole everybody joke that you would make the slave I was trying not to use that word. You were trying to make them your servants to do all of your bidding basically around the base, and a lot of people had fun with it. They joked around. It's Pokemon with guns. They also had guns. I saw Hard Drive Magazine did a joke where they're like, Pocket Pair hired lawyers with guns because basically it was the same premise as the Nintendo property. But the reason this is concerning is because the Nemesis system could never be used again. And I'm wondering if like the idea of capturing a character could ever be used again because Nintendo has patented it. So a few concerning things. Basically, Nintendo's never lost the case. Nintendo has, as I mentioned in my tweet, a legendary track record. I think they never lost a lawsuit that they initiated themselves. Sirkan Toto said, so they, as an example, so they had this legal battle. Kolopal said, no way. But in 2021, they had a settlement where Nintendo got the equivalent of $20 million US. And Kolopal is now paying license fees to Nintendo for continuing to use the patents inside their mobile game. The patent in question was basically a do you want to keep playing yes or no sign, and there was no other correlation to any Nintendo product as far as I knew. It was literally just a sign, really? And Nintendo felt litigious that day and went for it. So you think they're trying to get licensing fees from Palworld and not shut it down? Yeah, I think they're trying to damage them financially as much as they can. And in the case of Kolopal, again, it was just $20 million US. Now, it's very obvious to anybody who looks at it that Palworld is similar to Pokemon, but it does take some liberties with that idea that I think are really fun. And if Nintendo shuts this down, nobody will ever again be able to take or use the idea of capturing a character in a ball. Basically, like that can never be used by anyone, which I think is a little egregious, but they're doing it because I think Palworld has gotten so big and they're like, okay, well, we're not happy about this. What can we do? You can bet your life that Nintendo hates this company and they couldn't find an angle with the character designs. This is why they are not mentioned in their press release. So they come with these technical peculiarities. Sorry, that's a hard word to say. And please don't forget, the Tokyo Game Show next week already has a list of games that are going to be showcased. And it looks like Pocket Pair will announce a PlayStation 5 version of Palworld there. I can guarantee you Nintendo wanted to sabotage that launch.
You're like a little chicken.
I can guarantee you also that they wanted to sabotage the recent announcement of Pocket Pair getting together with
very Asian thing to do.
Aniplex Anime Studio to expand the IP. Palworld's going big. And Nintendo is basically saying, okay,
any sign of
enough.
Weakness,
like we're actually going to have competition in the market. What can we do legally to slow this down? They are nowhere near as big as us. Can we squash this and get ahead of it? Just like you should squash that subscribe button every time you watch one of my videos. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to
just capture the character as something else like a yeah, exactly.
It helps the entire Japanese game industry if there's a newcomer like Pocket Bear, because it's for the longest time we didn't
it's
have
a better
idea
than like the stupid ball thing anyway.
Game
You're bored?
In Japan. Nintendo is going to spit in their bowl. I don't think that Nintendo looks at these things through an idealistic lens at all. This is just a pure cold-blooded business. So they are going to town with the litigation abilities they have at their disposal, and they are saying, okay, yep, we are going to sue this company and try and make some money. Pirate Software said, my assumption is that Nintendo is going after Pocket Pair for the PAL Sphere mechanic, as it directly mirrors the Pokeball. Nintendo has a patent on file for this mechanic, but the dates make it a bit interesting. The US patent was filed in May of 2024. That's after Palworld was released, by the way, and approved in August 2024. The Japan one appears to have been filed in December 2021 and was approved in November 2023. Palworld was announced publicly on June 2021 and launched in January 2024. It does make you wonder if they were playing the long game, like let's get this registered just in case, and then Palworld blew up. From this basis, it appears that Nintendo saw a threat and tried to shore up with the patents in case Palworld did well. Overall, I feel that patenting mechanics in this way limits games and gives us worse games overall. I agree. We should be copyrighting characters, art, music, and other content. Patenting mechanics sucks for everyone. Patents aren't my forte, but this definitely seems in the realm of possibility. Waiting to see how this all plays out and if my assumption is even correct. So maybe he's right, maybe he's not, but I agree. I think this limits the sort of mechanics that other game designers are allowed to use, and like nobody wants to go up against Nintendo, so they just won't do it. Just like nobody has ever used the Nemesis system ever again, and that bums a lot of people out, because imagine that a different franchise, imagine Grand Theft Auto was able to do that with like some sort of gangster mob faction or something. I think that would be really interesting, and they won't, unfortunately. Florian Mueller, we've had him on the channel before, said the following: at first sight, it may look like there's a lot of technology in there, but all of that technology, like a game controller, is old. Even the combination of those old technologies was not new in 2021. The priority date, meaning the patent can be shot down based on anything that existed then, including whatever it was obvious to combine them. He also said, what Pocket Pair has to defend is multiple patent claims. The broader these are, the harder it is for Pocket Pair to work around. But the easier to find something that existed in 2021 and covers the technical substance of this. The narrower they are, the harder it is to find prior art, but the easier for Pocket Pair to steer clear of infringement. I hope Pocket Pair wins, because potentially
You know what Nintendo needs to do? They need to stop suing people and just make a Pokemon sex game. Like if they went out and just made a X-rated 18 plus Pokemon sex game, everyone would win. They would make so much money with that.
this is a situation where they would be able to bounce back basically and say, hey, we're able to defend against this, and other people will
just
be
make
able
a
to
Pokemon
utilize,
hentai game and put it up on
their
Steam.
own spin on ideas like throwing a ball.
They'll
at
be
a tin
raking
can.
it in.
Yeah.
Imagine
And
the evolutions.
if my inbox
you
is
can
any
do.
indication, Richard Hogue says Nintendo versus Power World is not just of interest to gamers, but to national and even global news outlets. I think you all are going to get some pretty extensive coverage, and to everyone I've been able to help so far, I appreciate so much you taking these topics seriously, and you're thinking of me to help do that. This is a big deal. This is a lawsuit that will have impact on
what's going on?
what game creators are able to create.
You need
in the
toilet
future.
paper?
So I do think it's important. It's good to hear that Hogue is going to be talking about it soon. Pokemon is finally suing Power World over patent infringement, Legal Mindset says. Note the case is filed in Tokyo, as both companies are headquartered there, so it will apparently apply relevant Japanese law. We'll need to dive deeper into the facts, but regardless of specifics, this will be bloody. Yeah, it's going to be bad. I do hope that, you know, PlayStation or Xbox backs Pal World, because obviously they've said, yeah, we want our version of Pokemon on our platform. And I think Pal World's a really fun, interesting spin on the take, and really there's a few things where they align. It's the character designs are similar to, you know, the idea of pocket monsters, which obviously was where Pokemon got their idea. And then the idea of capturing them in a ball is similar. But Pal World is a very different game than any of the Pokemon games. And I do hope that they are able to continue making Pal World and doing whatever they're going to do with that franchise. I'd be interested to see that world continue to grow versus just Pokemon, which Nintendo has largely not been able to keep up with tech. Like the last game was riddled with issues, and I'm not saying Pal World wasn't, but it was refreshing to have sort of this game to satisfy that pocket monster capturing itch that you know, Pocket Monsters brought back in the day. Let me know what you think about the case in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when my content goes live. Thank you so much for watching. This page has a lot of members on it now. Thank you so much to all the members. Aries gifted a ton of members, so I had to update this. Thank you everybody who has become a member. If you want to support this channel, you can click that.
Oh yeah,
join
thanks for
button.
1,000
I'm gonna
subs,
get out of
by
here.
the way.
It has been a busy few weeks, so I apologize for
actually
not having
do have
videos as
1,000 subs
consistently.
on-
A lot
on
of
the
busy work
Zethros
stuff
channel
lately,
now.
but you can check that out over on IGN. I'm gonna get out of here. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.
It's pretty impressive. I never thought there's actually this many people that would watch this. It's pretty sad. You guys have no lives. Just saying.
Hello everyone, my name is Gus.
Hi, I'm Woody.
Today we have, I guess a subset, a little chunk of a long documentary where they found, apparently, I haven't seen the whole thing, but they found some caves and they decided to go exploring. And they said, we don't want to use bubbles in this cave because there's a bunch of stuff in the ceiling or whatever, and we need to be able to see it without a bunch of bubbles. So that's up our alley. We dive in caves without bubbles. So let's check out what they did.
Okay.
The Earth, a blue planet. 71%
Yeah,
of
I'm
the
like,
globe
I'm
is
suspicious
covered by
now.
water.
Maybe Rusty
The
went out
heartbeat
and
of the
bought
Earth
me
is
some
felt by many
subs.
living things around the globe.
He went out to go
Its ebb
to go
and
get some
flow.
bots to sub to my
The
channel.
Mediterranean. It has shared its riches with people for thousands of years. However, there are only a few places where a
What was
diversity
with
of
that?
species.
What was with like those bots that were coming in? Remember that one day there's like a bunch of bots that came in. They're like, oh my god, look at this guy, he sucks. That was so funny.
Has survived. To save them, natural reserves were
I
created.
can't believe
like
I
here
actually
at
got
the
like
island of Porquerolles.
DDoSed a bit by bots.
Underwater, the
You
visitor
French?
is confronted
Obviously,
with a
not
myriad
DDoS,
of
but
different landscapes. Rocky
got
mountains are
mobbed.
dissected by light valleys covered with seagrass. The free diver Frederick Bouy lives and works
Look
here.
at that guy.
He is
hanging
an
out.
underwater photographer.
It's
The
awesome.
exceptional diver can remain more than 5 minutes underwater
Wow.
without disturbing
Seriously,
fish.
that's
The
amazing.
noise
That's
made
awesome.
by a pressurized
Look at
air
him.
tank.
Yeah. Now I assume that's something
And-
you like build up, right?
Yeah.
Little by little.
Yes, and
over years.
but
The
what
Mediterranean
but look at the experience he gets with the marine life, which is why we talk about the benefits of no bubbles on a rebreather, right?
That's right.
That marine life's like, cool, no bubbles, you some kind of fish, I'll come near you.
Indian Sea is the home to mysterious places and scenes of past tragedies. Wrecks of sunken ships. The sense of mystery and danger surrounds them.
Yeah.
The Donator was a freighter that hit a mine and sank after the end of World War II.
I'd love to dive it with the
The
rebreather.
huge wreck lies between the island of Porquerolles and Porquerolles.
You hear that?
The
It's
current between the islands
Porquerolles and
creates a
Porquerolles.
spectacular abundance of life.
Porquerolles
It's like I
and
need to go
Porquerolles.
stretch. I haven't
Pretty sure
stretched
you said
since
the
I
same
started
thing,
this
so-
stream. It's been an
You're
hour
not
and 30
French.
minutes.
Look at this guy.
The Donator lies at a depth of 50 meters.
He's so chilled. Look at him. He's going in.
Dude, 50 meters.
This
like
dive
150
is a
feet.
serious challenge for the free divers. Just to get here and back, they have to cover over 100 meters on a single breath.
Yeah, that's seriously hard. I see you going in. 5 feet. Look at the wreck. You're back on the boat.
The remains of this dead ship
Free
are
diving for sure.
teeming with life. It seems that nature has conquered the barren bleakness of human
beautiful.
technology and turned it into a true paradise.
Dude, 50 meters, 150 feet is a sweet spot for a rebreather.
Oh, yeah.
The colors revealed by the spotlights are incredible.
Free divers just look so graceful. They're so good underwater.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Once at the wreck, they have to be careful to conserve energy to avoid a potential blackout on the way back.
What?
Yep. Shallow water blackout. Partial pressure.
Oh, I
rush
actually want to
drops
listen
so
to this.
fast. You're
I
like,
have to
"God."
pause this. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
But that looks beautiful, though. On the Dive Talk Go, you'd be.
So it would be pretty bad to come from behind and tickle this guy. I think that would be bad. That would be a bad joke.
I don't.
Not sure about this back
Diving
attachment
community is
actually.
laughing, but I could be wrong.
It's okay, I
Wow, that
guess.
looks really cool.
It's very Chinese.
Get the colors.
Reefs are like underwater islands in the blue expanse of the ocean. They offer shelter and food for all kinds of underwater creatures.
We should go to Pockerel and Pochla and check out this wreck.
If
Yeah,
you
I
call
feel like
Delta
maybe it's a
on
little
the
bit too
phone
much.
and
I'm
said,
gonna go
"I would like
separate
to
out
book a
into
ticket
like
to
helmet
Peru,"
attachment
Peru.
folder.
It's
They're
not
gonna,
Peru.
They're
I
gonna
have
say,
like way
"Fuck
too many
you,
folders.
Did you say Peru?
They're not gonna know what you're talking about. That's zero
I
French.
need like
Everybody knows where Pockerel
subfolders.
is.
Just because
Folders
you're in
within
a
folders.
doesn't make it French.
Pochla.
Yeah. Okay. It looks amazing, though.
Oh, it's amazing. So the question is, how long can they stay down there? So it takes 50 meters to get there.
Underwater peace
Amazing. A few
and
minutes, like
quiet
this guy.
prevails.
Underwater peace and quiet. You get that with rebreathers. Oh
But
boy.
the wreck attracts divers in droves.
It's the bubble makers.
Noisy.
No, don't be kind of
Everything changes
That's okay.
dramatically.
Look at this
The
guy.
exhaled bubbles from all these divers now dominate
That
the
was
wreck.
you, so don't act like now. It's not
terrible.
Cool. See, that's not good. I don't agree with him.
People criticize us. It's like, you guys do an open circuit
Elitist.
dive once in a while.
You're an elitist.
You only dive rebreathers.
The fish
Well,
retreat.
That, yes.
Yeah.
If I could, yes.
Thanks to modern technology, more and more people
like maybe
dare
it's a
to
little bit
venture
too
into
much.
ever greater depths without sufficient
A
experience.
little bit too much.
That's
True.
This
absolutely
is
a serious
quite
topic.
dangerous, since a problem at a depth of 50 meters can quickly become perilous.
I
Very
agree with
much
that.
so. Single tankers at 150 feet. It's crazy, dude.
Underwater mass tourism. For Fred, there is nothing left to see here.
Pretty's like this, idiots.
Wow, look at Fred.
I'm
though.
out.
He's just so chilled. It's awesome.
1% body fat.
Look at that guy. Gliding.
Yep. You just take a hit from an octo on the way up.
Okay, then don't even listen to that comment.
I'm not.
We had a whole video
I'm
on
not
that.
encouraging people to do it.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
saying
you thought
the
there's no
exceptional
long over
diver
expansion.
has met
You
many
thought that was
challenges
awful.
that's not what I
already.
said. All right, here we go.
However, Frederick Bouy has one of his biggest adventures ever in store in the Mediterranean.
Yeah, buddy.
His destination?
Is that in
Underwater caves at the coast with a very sensitive ecosystem. The researchers have to consider that no breathing air from compressed air bottles should gather in the caves. So
That's
the
when we come-
freediver's sensitive and
What?
unobtrusive technique is ideal.
Dude, come on. Free diving?
This is
In
a
a
world
cave?
that puts high demands on the abilities of the freedivers.
Wow.
The entrance alone lies 20 meters below the surface. It is impossible to resurface right in the middle of the cave.
Is that an okay thing in in the free diving community? You don't know, so we don't know. Like, we're not in that world. And is that considered taboo, or is there like training for free divers and you can?
In caves?
Is there any okay for a free diver to dive into caves? I'm asking
No.
a question. It's always no.
I think it's always no.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. I really don't. It seems crazy,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know.
It's
Is
not
this-
crazy. It's just very short time.
I would think
I mean,
so.
this guy's going in. Okay, so the opening is a 60 feet, 66 feet, 20 meters. He's going in there like a couple minutes and then out. You know, like even and he's an elite guy. Why not? Rebreather on.
Well, I mean, because
2 hours.
his thing is free diving. I don't know. Maybe in Potpourri they do that.
William Winram, Frederick Bouy's friend and also one of the world's best free divers, will come along and film him on this adventure.
No, they didn't invite you. World best free
To
diver.
survive such a dangerous
30
undertaking
seconds in me.
requires supreme ability, self-control, and fitness. It is nothing for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, that's for sure. Are they both freediving?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, in case one of them runs out of air.
Look at that, dude. Now that's... Look at this. They're
doing
back
it.
in that cave.
They're doing it.
Whoever thinks that there is no life in these dark and cold caves is definitely wrong.
Definitely.
Look at that. That looks so cool. With a rebreather.
Yes. Look at this guy.
Do you have a scientific name for that, Doctor?
Well,
no.
That's
A few years ago, some sponge organisms in the caves attracted a lot of attention from scientists.
How?
It's thought that the sponges contain a certain toxin that could be beneficial in the treatment of illnesses like cancer and AIDS.
What?
Pretty cool.
High time to return.
Look at the exit over there.
By the way, no line. I'm just saying.
Imagine the
Yeah.
amount of
May have
expertise you
just
need
gone straight in, straight out.
to know
But
cave
no lines,
diving, and then
pretty
also,
risky.
on top of that, have medical knowledge
Especially
to
on a breath hold.
identify that there might be chemicals in a sponge that
And
has
did they go into a no-light zone? Boy.
like
looks
properties beneficial to removing AIDS.
But this will be great
and
on
cancer.
the go. On a rebreather. Oof.
Imagine the
Getting
knowledge.
stressed here could be
forever.
fatal.
It's so nice.
Some free divers are able to reach the incredible depths of over 200 meters in the open ocean
Wow.
and stay underwater for over 7 minutes.
That's unbelievable.
But these are record-breaking dives.
Yeah.
This incredible ability is a result of extreme physical training and incredible self-control to overcome the breathing reflex.
Caused by CO2 buildup, by the way.
Yeah.
Makes you want to breathe.
There they come.
He's super graceful. Look at him. Just chilled. Boom. Look at that. The dolphin.
To the surface.
Mission completed.
Amazing.
The divers safely reached the
Amazing.
boat after more than 5 minutes.
More than 5 minutes they were down there.
Amazing.
Dude, that's unbelievable.
Now I noticed he had a snorkel, and I have heard that freedivers are not supposed to. You're not supposed to be breathing out of that snorkel when you're back on the surface and recovering. So anyway, for various reasons that I'm not knowledgeable enough to discuss, but
Well, I'm definitely not an expert in
No.
free diving in caves.
or
Okay.
any science
But
topic.
we did react to a video of a guy who is an expert on it, allegedly, and he wrote the 14 rules for free diving in caves. It was one of our
Wow.
OG videos. We reacted to it a while ago, and I'm going to leave it right here so you can check it out. These guys are amazing, though. Frederick,
No, they're amazing. I
diving
know
in
that.
Potpourri and Fakarala
Yeah,
or whatever.
I want to go to Poopery and Paparazzi.
Paparazzi and Port Madera.
Yeah,
I
your
think.
French is.
I'm gonna play a
starting
bit of
to-
Morrowind.
I'm wondering.
I feel like
now if
playing a
you
bit of
really
Morrowind.
speak it.
Croissant.
A
Bye,
bit of
everybody.
Morrowind. I long to be an Argonian once again. I really want to sculpt a massive mushroom and then put it somewhere in Unreal. I've been holding off though. It's not time to do environment art yet. It is not the time. Okay. We just leveled up, I think. And then we have athletics and acrobatics to train. That means strength, speed, and endurance. Let's go jump back to... We need to train endurance.
What's this about?
What's this about? How much money do I have? I don't know if I have enough.
You have something to say to me?
Speak quickly. Say
If-
your needs.
If Creeper doesn't
Probably
have enough
nothing.
money here... Oh, he does. Okay, he has some money. I'll go sell him like a bunch of this junk on the floor. All the small bits,
Speak quickly.
like the paper and the spoon and all that. Let's make it a bit less cluttered in here. Oh, that's a bit much. Let's go buy back. Maybe the cuirass? That'll leave us more. Oh. Okay, maybe take the greaves too, just so we can sell more of this stuff. Oops. I kind of want to keep the ancient Dagoth brandy because we'll need it for a quest eventually. I guess sell some potions, maybe? Also, I don't really want to sell him a bunch of junk either. I want to keep his inventory relatively clean. I'll just like throw this junk somewhere. Sell that. What else do we have here? Sell some of these potions. Cyrodiilic brandy. I like keeping Cyrodiilic brandy around. It's just a nice name for like an alcohol. I bet it tastes amazing. I wish I had a bit of Cyrodiilic brandy right now. That'd be nice. Oh, let's sell the skooma. I want to get rid of the skooma, that's for sure. Huh, okay. Maybe I only have enough to with that. Well, we're gonna hop on over to the mud crab merchant because I have a lot of booze and stuff I can sell. We'll drop this here. You can put like the clothes I'm not using over here. And then all this junk that I have,
Say
I should
your
just like
business.
put it in a crate or something. I'll sell it to one of the merchants.
Speak quickly.
Side. Sell it to this dude. There we go. Give me a sec. Who's
What's
whining
this,
about
then?
something? Okay, I'm back. Just as long as they're not guy friends. Does Tinder even still exist? I thought I heard they closed down or something. There's no more Tinder. I could be wrong.
What's this regarding?
My patience is limited.
Let's go to Saran.
Balmor.
Care to tell me what this is about?
No, I do not care.
Speak quickly.
Speak quickly or go away. What? Nice. I should download that mod that gives you like multiple mark locations. You can choose which one, but I think that requires MWSE, so Morrowind script extend. Hey, woo woo, what you doing? Hey. No. I'll need like Morrowind script extended for that, I think. That's pretty scary. Wandering the coasts at night. Ugh. Silstrader, not Silstrader, Cliff Racer. A Ring of Aversion. Let's go try that. If I get swarmed by something I can't handle, I'll just go invis and run away. It's just a mud crab. He's just a mud crab. So that's our speed. Jump a few more times and it should level up. There we go, there's our acrobatics. We'll pop invis before we go in the water. Just in case. This ring is just way too good for an item they can buy off a merchant. Invisibility for like, what, 10 seconds? Like multiple charges? What happened to my fins on my head? Yo, I don't have fins anymore. Oh, they're there. Cure poison, tech key, train attributes, train fatigue, train health. I don't need any of that. Oh wait, that has cure common disease though. Let's keep that just in case. Restore intelligence. Don't need that. Don't need that. Lots of stuff I don't need. Feather. Don't really need. I should be selling like the heavy stuff first, but I think he has enough money to buy everything that I have. Fortified personality could be good. Frost shield. Nah. Grief. Nah. Levitate, I need that. Maze, I need that. Look at that. That's Fortify Strength 20 points for 60 seconds. And it reduces my willpower and intelligence, but I don't use those stats. So I'll keep that on me. Paralyze. Wait, what? It's named Paralyze, but restores fatigue. It weighs 1 though, so we'll sell it. Wow, I can make some pretty baller restore fatigue pushes. Look at that. Restore 27 fatigue every second for 74 seconds. I have like 20. I have like 40 of them. Don't need Sheen. Can sell the standard restores now. Maybe not the standard restore health though, I might need that. Wow, Sujama, where do I get more of that? Fortify strength 50 points for 60 seconds. I need to go visit some bartenders, get some more Sujama. Telekinesis, water breathing, I need both of those. Looks good. Let's go sell this. Get 8,660 gold. Oh shit. Oh, that scared the shit out of me. I thought that was a cliff
What's
racer.
this about?
What is that X on the... Oh, that's my mark. Okay. Okay, I have a lot of money now. I have 15,000. Let's go train endurance. I was thinking maybe I should wear like heavy armor, but nah. I think it'd make the game a bit too easy if I was wearing heavy armor.
Share your thoughts, friend. I enjoy the company.
One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Is there like an unarmored trainer anywhere?
Speak up!
I can try tackling the rats, see if I can do that. It was pretty damn scary before, but maybe I have what it takes to kill them now. Like, it would be nice to be able to do some quests. Oh, you know what I should do? I should talk to Caius Casades before I'm not able to collect the 200 gold because I look like a noob right now. He gives you 200 gold if you go to him directly at level 1. Caius, I'm just an old man with a skooma problem. According to Caius Casades. Yes. Are you ready to follow my orders, Carvel? No. Fine, get out of here. Orders. Yes. Orders. Yes. First thing, Pilgrim, you're new and you look at here's 200 drakes. I don't know why they call it drakes, but then in your inventory it says gold. It's weird. Go get yourself a decent weapon or armor or a spell. And second thing, you need a cover identity. Well, I'm a thief. Orders. Go talk to Hasfat Antibolus. Alright.
Let's hear it.
He's got some fat. He's got a chub.
I will listen, Outlander, but make it quick.
Let's go kill the rats. At least see if we can kill the rats. I feel like this is gonna end really badly. This house, right? I think. Yeah, alright. Quick save it. Drink a health. Drink a restore fatigue potion. I could try picklocking it. Get some picklock skill up. Yeah, there we go. Remove the picklock. Oh shit. Okay, okay. Health potion time. Maybe 2. I think they stack. Ooh. Me is really coming in clutch here. Oh my god, I might die. Ah my god, oh my god. Ah! Okay, I got this. Okay, time to go. I'm gonna run out of health potions very fast though, if I keep this up. Oh my god. Oh no! I died! Yes, let's load it. Yeah, it's still pretty tough. I don't think I can tackle these guys. Not yet anyway. I need to be able to have higher hit chance because like I'm missing half my hits even with full fatigue. Alright, let's go try to take on Snowy. Maybe we can take on Snowy. I feel like I have enough hit points to be able to survive one hit from his axe. Jump down this way, shortcut. Those are some scary ass ants. I mean rats, not ants. What's the difference between this and normal Morrowind? This is normal Morrowind. It's just like OpenMW. It's slightly modded with vanilla mods. Unless you mean like what the Project Nova thing is in the title. Early on in the stream I was working on a game project of mine. Yeah, this is basically vanilla Morrowind. Uh-oh. What's that sound? Oh, it's Snowy. Okay. Already in combat. Let's quick save it here while I'm out of striking distance. Drink a restore fatigue potion. 1 minute of fighting. What's Project Nova? Project Nova is it's a video game I'm making in my free time when I'm not playing games or working. I don't even know what that does. Is that supposed to like destroy fatigue or something? Okay, we're getting somewhere. His chance to cast is probably pretty low because he has like 0 fatigue now. So I can probably like stop dodging it. Oh, he still hit me. Uh-oh. This is the scary part. I gotta be careful. I'm out of, I need more fatigue. Oh my god, okay, I can survive one hit. I can finally survive one hit. Thank goodness. Because, like earlier, he one-shot me with that axe. I think we might win here. We're gonna claw him to death very slowly with our Argonian claws. A horrible death, for sure.
Let's see what you're made of.
Alright, got him. Finally. We leveled up a lot of hand-to-hand with that. I think we went from 45 to 47 or something. Nice. He doesn't really have anything good on him though. We can try like doing this dungeon here. Although I probably should talk to Hasfat first. Otherwise I can't pick up the Dwemer puzzle cube. Balmora should be down here somewhere. Uh-oh. Got a blight storm? Or just a normal dust storm, I think. I kind of want to find some better robes. Like, these robes are nice because they have a heal enchant, but they don't look amazing. I might actually go back to... Hold on, let's go back to Caldera. Because I do have some better robes up in my flat here. Wait, those are Tar Hills robes. I thought I did. Where did I put them? Oh, they're sitting next to Creeper. I need to go to Creeper for that. I could just like buy some better robes as well. Take a look.
Transform day to night, but what transforms the mind?
What transforms the mind? Common robes. Blue seems a nice color. We can also like try brown. I'll just buy a bunch of robes and see which one looks nice on me. Only cost 12 gold. Pretty good deal for so many robes.
You have something.
Oh, this one looks nice. I like this one. It matches my backpack. Brown one. Green. This one's very vanilla Morrowind vibes. Oh, this one's pretty nice too. It's like China. Wait, we already saw that one. Nah, this one's too plain. This is like RuneScape. This is a RuneScape robe. It's not that one already. It's not too bad either. Denim. This is the denim robe. This one's too poor for my taste. We'll go with this one. This one's pretty nice. This one or what is it? Yeah, I guess it's just the brown one that looks nice. We'll sell the rest. Sell the rest back to him.
You have something to say to me?
Let's go get the robe from Reaper too.
Yes.
Here we go. Got the common robe. Maybe this one actually looks the best. Yeah, this one looks really nice.
Say your business.
Maybe a bit too bunched up in the shoulder area though. Yeah, we'll go with this. This looks better. Okay.
What's this about?
Persuasion. Go to Balmor. Up to Hasfat and Ebolus.
What assistance do we need?
Head on.
Alright, a favor. Do we have a puzzle box? Lots of texts.
What's this about?
Okay. Let's go.
Share your thoughts, friend.
Now we can go. I should put on a torch or something. Oh, there's a cliff racer. Watch out for that. Nasty creatures. Grab a few of these torches. They're pretty heavy, but they're nice to have at night. Right. What to do? There's a few dudes down there. One of them has like a... Is there... Oh shit, there are... Okay, hold on. Let me go here just in case, and then drink a fortify. Maybe I should drink a maze. I might actually do that. Like once they're down. Oh my god, did he just fall down? He just fell. Die, Enwa. Wit. don't actually need the robe anymore because like it takes time to heal too. Like I have to cast using the enchantment. Let's time for some maze. That should like boost my hand-to-hand damage by a lot. There we go. Look at that. Actually doing a bit of damage now. Slightly more. We'll get better at this. Eventually, we'll be taking out enemies decently fast. I'm glad the other guy fell off the bridge. It'd be harder to do this 2v1. 1v2. Eventually I can just like stun lock them to death because it destroys their fatigue whenever I punch. Take that! Basically the whole strat, just stun lock them to death. Okay, got one down. Nothing of value.
No mercy.
That guy's angry. Want to take care of him before we aggro anyone else.
No mercy.
It's like an 8-year-old boy. What is up with that face texture?
Am I good or what?
You're pretty good. You're okay. I'll try doing charge punches now.
I'm going to enjoy this.
Wow, sadistic. It's a sadistic dude. He's gonna enjoy this. He's enjoying the ass beating I'm giving him. A true Morrowind NPC. Give you some extra cheek taps here. Nice Morrowind. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Alright. Maybe I should like buy some healing rings or something. I gotta be able to like find a ring of healing. That would be really nice to have. This dwarven spear, I want to take it just because it looks nice. It doesn't sell for a lot, and I'm not gonna use it, but it looks nice. It's like a golden spear. This is the boss, right? I think it is. Let's go. Quick save. Drink another fatigue potion.
Let's see what you're made of.
Uh-oh, electric. I should probably drink a health potion, just in case he is able to one-shot me. I feel like Snowy's probably stronger than this guy, though. Got him. Stun locked. Ooh, I'm not doing a lot of damage, though. My hand-to-hand skill is going up so fast. Wow, it's already like 5 speed. Okay, yeah. I gotta level up. I gotta use a trainer for speed, just so I can level up. Let's make his ass a bit. You know what I should do? Let's go drink some Sujama. I need to buy some more of this, but it's gonna speed things up a bit because it'll increase my strength by 50 points, so it's decent. The damage I do is okay now instead of abysmal. Only took a few hits. Oh, levitate, I need that. Cure common disease. Not really worth the 0.5 weight. I can always make some if I need some. I have one that's like 0.1 weight already. Unduce's unhinging is good. Grab the puzzle cube. I don't think there's anything else that's worth picking up in here. There might be a few coins, but that's about it. There we go. Everything else is like way too heavy. Yeah, that's basically it. We'll head on back out. We can actually recall.
Yes, friend.
Actually, hold on. Let me unbind Velothi's robe. So, first one should be Ring of Healing. Second one should be, I guess Recall Ring. No, Ring of Aversion and then Recall. And then let's go delete that. Recall, Aversion, Healing. Quick save. I would like a better healing enchantment. If we can even find one. Does she have any healing? Ooh, and she has a shield. That lets me heal. Oh, that's medium armor. Whoa. Amulet of Stamina. Restore 10 to 30. Oh, it's only 1 second though. Not really worth. Doze Charm. 1 to 20 points for 1 second. Not really worth. Life Belt. Ooh, look at that. Restore health 10 points for 1 second. And it's a belt. Let's get it. That'll be worth having. It's not the best, but it's something. Any scrolls worth having? Jump and Slip Wall. Tenere's Hop Toad, that could be good. Restore health 2 points for 60 seconds on self. That could also be very nice to have. We'll grab a few of these just for emergencies. But I don't want to be too reliant on like magic.
Okay. If there's anything I can do, I am humbly at your service.
I kind of just want to use the belt because the ring is just not very good. Sometimes you just restore 1 HP.
Want something.
Okay. We're gonna train up strength.
Speak up. I must say, I find you most interesting right now. Please go ahead.
Armor, I guess, or blunt weapon. Either or. Strength 2. Training. Strength 3. Oops, shoot. I did not want to do that. I don't want to train up heavy armor because that's my source of endurance. Okay, 4. Okay, 5. There we go. Let's go.
Welcome, friend.
Sleep.
The day is yours.
Level up.
What should we talk about?
Not here. Next one. I have to be careful. There could be a Dark Brotherhood assassin anytime now. Oh fuck. Okay. There it is. You in-law. I'm not an in-law, I'm an outlaw. See, I'm a thief. So I'm an outlaw. He's wrong. I'll just punch him to death. Ow, my god, that hurt. Actually didn't hurt. Ah, we got him! We got him! He's down! He can't hit me anymore because he's out of fatigue. I'm not... You didn't trap me in here, you're trapped in here with me. This is personal now. You don't fuck with the hand-to-hand Argonian. Wow, I'm actually dealing pretty good damage. Look at that, he's just having a lot of health. Watch when he crits me and my entire life bar disappears. Got him. Look how much this armor is worth. I got his carved ebony dart. Heck yeah. Just grab everything. Sometimes they throw this at you and you won't, and you don't get it back because there's only like a limited amount of these in the game. All right. Wait, we didn't level up yet. We gotta level up. Strength, speed, and endurance. Wait. How much health do I have now? 60. I think I had like 50. What? Like 50. I want to say like 53 or something. So like each level I'm getting more than 5 health, which is nice. Okay. I guess we'll keep training endurance.
What should we talk about?
That's always something I should train up. Speed. Speechcraft is getting up there. Maybe I should train personality. Enchant. I don't know. But we always need endurance, so we'll just train that for now. And 10.
Well met, friend.
There we go. 5 endurance. The rest, I'll just level up normally. I guess maybe like strength, some agility. How do I train agility? Agility would be nice to have. Sneak, huh? Is there a way to just like passively train sneak? Like, can I? Last time I tried doing this, like alt tabbing would crash Morrowind, which sucked. But I could go to Satanin and then we can sneak next to Stellus Gravius. That one dude, the Roman legionary. Let's go to Satanin. See if it'll work. I really hope it doesn't crash.
Why walk when you can ride?
It suck. Crash and alt tab sucks. Like if I just crouch here. Okay, we'll quick save it and then alt tab. And and then hope it doesn't crash. Yeah, take a short break. Be right back.
What was that?
Oh shit, I just realized my mic was muted this entire time. I was just talking to myself. It's great. Love it. Love it when that happens. Basically, I was trying to solve an alt-tab issue for like the longest time ever. And I don't think I've solved it either. I think it's still active.
What was that?
What was that? It was the wind. It's just some rats. Well, so far it seems to be working. Yeah, one second. I'm gonna go make some tea. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna put this actually right here. That's gonna make the... We'll make the resolution tiny. And we'll just like put it right here so you guys can see what I'm... So you guys can see my character run into the wall for a little while. Oh, how do I like pin it to the front though? I don't know if I can. What if I like... We'll add a source capture. Add a game capture. Okay. Capture a specific window. Window should be OpenMW. Okay. And then we'll stick that like right here. And then I can move like the actual window to my second monitor. Okay. Now you guys can like see that. Wait, how do I like adjust this? Ooh, God, that's crazy. It's a pretty big. Okay, that's fine, I guess. And I should turn off BRB. That's still on. Infinity! Okay. Wow. Go options, audio, music. Music's pretty good. Excellent, all tabbed over. So far it's working. It's no crashes yet. I feel like it's because Morrowind is being displayed on at least one screen. So maybe that has something to do with it. Quick save. What's my skill level at? Let's see. Oh my god, this is tiny. Agility is 4. Okay, so we gotta check. We gotta keep checking to make sure that we don't go over 5. I wonder, how do I train up luck? I need to figure that out. Luck would be nice to have. Oh yeah, I can only level up luck like 1 point at a time. That's not good.
What was that?
What was that? It was me, Skeletor.
Now, where did I put that?
actually a little bit too loud. Give me a sec. A little bit too loud. It's nice music, but it's too loud. Let's go take a look at our stats. Okay, agility is 5. We gotta stop crouch walking. Save it. Everything looks a bit more saturated. What's up with that? Weird. What next? Agility, endurance, speed again, I guess. Unarmored's almost up there. Beechcraft 2. I want speed, I guess. Just need speed again. Strength would be nice. I don't have like an auto jump button though. I'd have to like make an auto hotkey for this. I bet I could. How do I make an auto hotkey for jump?
Go ahead, stranger.
Hold on, let me go do some reverse engineering. So we have where is it? Elden Ring. We have a chainsaw glitch. Let's go open this up. Can we like make a duplicate? Control C, Morrowind, Control V, and then we'll edit this. Morrowind, AFK jump. Oops. I don't want to start it. Let's exit that. Edit. Okay. If window active, what is this window called? No, wait, I actually don't. Oh, but I have to be Alt Tab, so I don't know if it'll work. Yeah, let's not do this. I'll just like we'll delete this, and then we'll just go train armoring or something. Who trains acrobatics? Isn't there a dude in Pelagiad who trains acrobatics? I swear there's like an acrobatics trainer. Let me go see. Before I look it up, I'm gonna go see if I can remember just from memory. Recall to, or no, you just take this illustrator. Honestly, you could probably just like walk there. Pelagia is just over the hill over here. I'm pretty sure there's an Argonian in Pelagia that trains acrobatics. It's like in a small house in one of the farm areas. Farmhouse right next to Pelagiad. 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 Yeah, there it is. Oh shit, there's a rat. Dead. Dead rat. I turned on strength effects hand to hand, by the way, in OpenMW. It just makes sense. Otherwise, like, if it doesn't affect, if your strength doesn't affect punching, then what does? You know. Yeah, it's this dude right here who looks exactly like me. It's a different face. I think this guy trains acrobatics. No, he's just an acrobat. He doesn't train it though. Shoot. What a crazy memory to have. I think I remember that all the way back when I was a kid. I was like, oh, this guy is an acrobat. He must train acrobatics. No, he doesn't. Let's see. Lucky lockup. Okay, we can go try that. Margon. We'll go to Lucky Lockup.
Go ahead, stranger.
Anytime you're ready. Just don't keep me waiting.
Where is she? Oh, I think this is it.
Okay, I'm listening.
Training? Oh, okay, nice. Wait an hour. Bribe her. Oh no, speechcraft increase. Oh well, whatever. Man, that is a lot of money. Just a briber. Shoot. Okay, let's go load that. Speechcraft is.
If you want
88.
something, now's the
I think
time
I
to
only
talk.
bribe her twice. Bribe fail. Do I actually lose money from bribe fails? I actually don't know. I don't lose money. Wait, maybe I do. Okay, 88 up to. Ooh, alright. So that's 6 points. If I
Well, I'm
bribe her
listening, so
again,
go ahead.
she's going to. Yeah. We'll just train acrobatics, I guess, even though it's expensive. Whatever. I have a lot of money. Money is no issue anymore. She also trains sneak, which is nice. Acrobatics 5. I mean strength 5.
Let's hear it.
Go ahead.
What assistance do you need?
Quick saving.
You
oh fuck! Again. All right. All right. All right. All right. We'll do it again. We'll get some more money. Whoa! Shit. What am I doing? Wait. What? Did I just take off a glove? Oh no! I still have another glove. Okay. I clicked on some clothing article of clothing. Need health.
Your wounds are prayed.
I like fire bite. Leveling up hand to hand. Dark Brotherhood's getting clawed to death. What is the color of night? Catch these hands, motherfucker. That's what the that's what the color is. Well, I leveled up a bunch of other stuff, but I guess that's fine. Whatever. Okay, we got 6 health from that. Not bad. I feel like every 5 increase, every 5 points in endurance, I get another 10% of HP. Interesting. We'll go sell this stuff. Drop it off at don't need that.
What do you want? Say your business.
5,000. Okay, nice. Oops. Bit overboard. Okay.
Say your
Let's head back to
words.
Balmora. I want to train up. Personality could be nice to have because I'm basically almost there with Speechcraft. We'll keep training up Sneak. Sneak and... yeah, I guess agility, speed, and endurance would be nice to have.
What's this about?
Endurance first.
What's your story? Welcome, friend. The day is yours. What shall we talk about?
We out of medium armor training? Yeah, we are. Okay. Should be 5. Endurance. Stealth. Maybe. I do want to be pretty good at sneak. I do want to be a sneaky bastard. Oh, we're training strength too. Okay. If that's the case, might as well just go here and then bribe, but then that's gonna be strength and personality, so I'm gonna have to train personality after this. How's my athletics? Okay, I can still run.
You've got my ear, let's hear it.
There we go, that's 1 point. Speechcraft. And then I guess we'll just keep training up acrobatics. Yeah. Okay, that's 5 strength. We need personality now. How do we train personality? I guess I can just like taunt someone. Is there some poor dude I can admire forever? Let's see. Who will I never talk to again? One of these guys. I'm gonna kill these guys eventually anyway. So
talk too much.
we'll just practice our speechcraft on this guy. We'll do admire. Can I move this like right over? Yeah, okay. So move this here. It should help level up speechcraft. Without him like trying to kill me with like taunt. Wait, I should probably have full fatigue for this. I can probably like bribe 10 gold to try doing that. It might be a bit easier. There we go. It's worth the 10 gold here and there. Ooh, look at that. Wow, I can actually like spam bribe 10 gold and that actually is pretty effective opposed to like bribing 100 gold. I'll try admire now, just so I don't have to waste so much money on. There we go. Okay, now we'll bribe 10 gold again. Okay, and then admire. Really hates me. Probably go check actually what my status is. Personality 3. Alright. Hi, what's up? No barking. Only 1. We'll check again. Oh, he hates me. Let's go try bribe 10 gold again. I wonder if I kill him, do I get my money back? I forget if that's a thing. Hey, what's up? You bored? Oops. Personality times 3. It's getting up there. Let's go check. 4, okay. Getting close. Okay, let's go check again. Oh, it's 5. Alright, we gotta go rest. Time to go sleep. Acrobatics. Okay, we can jump there. Let's jump our way to the bed. Ooh, our we can travel pretty far with jump now. It's pretty good. It's a nice thing to have. Alright, let's save it. Alright, strength, endurance, and personality. Yes. Min-max.
I must say, I find you most interesting right now. Please go ahead.
I'll try and go half. I have enough. 1, 2. I don't know if I can actually. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. Okay, that's 5. Acrobatics. Maybe speed and then also agility.
What's yours?
Athletics is speed. Let's start running everywhere because athletics is 56 compared to acrobatics 23. Athletics will level up faster. I wonder if there's a better area to sneak than like if I'm here, can I like just like walk in this corner? This might be better. Maybe like right here. Oh. Yeah, we'll just like do this. We'll just walk in a corner here. Okay, well, quick save it here. Move that over there. Change the resolution. Oh, no, not that. Okay, put that there. Okay. And I'll tap. Same. Gonna like, let's go like over here. It's too close. Hopefully he doesn't turn around. He does turn around. Shoot. Man. Come back around. If I'm here, will it still work? I think it'll still work. Try that. I feel like this isn't working very well. Let's go over to Satanine instead.
We make a special trip just for you. Same lo-
Where would you like to go?
Oh, it's so dark I can see shit. Where's my... Okay, let's not mess with my UI while it's in the lowest resolution possible. Head over to Stelis Grappius. And then we'll sneak here. Okay. They should work a lot better. I wasn't getting any level ups before. Let's like move this back. The face is not really in alignment. A lot of empty space in here I want to get rid of. I'm gonna take off my headset. No one's talking in chat, so I'm just gonna shut up and get some work done. Guys, my dogs and also my wife, they are all bored to death. I'm gonna end the stream here and then spend some time with them, and I'll be back later tonight, possibly.